A very good morning coming into the afternoon, and welcome to South Pine Sporting Complex here on the northern suburbs of Brisbane for the top of the table clash. It's round 5 of the NEAFL on NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partner Bar TV. Mark Kennedy is my name, and joining me this afternoon is the encyclopedia of everything to do with NEAFL, Bob Batty. And Bob, it's the Brisbane Lions versus the Sydney Swans. This is a mouth-watering clash.
Yeah, it certainly is, Mark. Both undefeated, both with 4 big wins each going into this game, and it'll certainly, whoever can take the points today will get a psychological lift, I suppose, for the NEAFL season.
Well, we've had one late change. Harry Reynolds is out for the Sydney Swans side, and into the starting side comes Nathan Coxall. And the Brisbane Lions, they come in unchanged. So they have 21 listed players today. They are a very, very strong side. And you would think that they will come in heavy favourites onto that basis, with the Sydney Swans having 14. But in a corresponding fixture, Bob, last year, we sat here and we said the same thing. And the Sydney Swans, just through sheer grunt, sheer will, and just the power through the midfield, got over the top of the Lions. Yeah,
they certainly did. Yeah, that Bloods culture, it's ingrained into this Sydney squad, and at the NEAFL and right through to the AFL level, and they'll certainly come to play today. They very proud football club, and they've got a great record at NEAFL level. And yeah, look, I think it's going to be a tight contest, especially early. But you would think the Lions, with 21 listed and rookie listed players, and a youngster called Kadeem Coleman, who's holding his end of the bargain up really well for Mitch Hahn as well, they're going to be hard to roll over the 4-quarter period.
Well, I think as far as the NEAFL goes, some absolute stars on both sides. I look at the Sydney Swans and I think about the likes of Darcy Cameron, who was phenomenal in the NEAFL last year and got some AFL experience. He's still waiting to break back into that Sydney Swans side. James Rowbottom looks a star of the future. Of course, Ben Ronk, he's back today at NEAFL level, and we look to have big things of him. And on the other side, you've got a whole list to choose from. You've got everywhere from the likes of Alan Christensen, a premiership player at Geelong, and now at the Lions for a couple of years, and then Nick Robinson, I think a young fellow that's got plenty of go, Cedric Cox, just to name a few. Who were you looking forward to seeing, Bob?
Oh, look, I think the key players for both teams, they might cancel each other out. You got Cameron against Archie Smith. You got Rose, O'Riordan, Clark and Ronke, who are going to go through their midfield. And you got Keys, Christensen, Matheson, Robertson, Bastanak. They might cancel each other out, those groups. And it's who steps up from the next group. The younger players, the rookies, if you like, and the recruits for both teams. Who steps up? And someone like who's had a fantastic start to the year, Toby Wooler, could be an important player for the Lions.
Well, we are just getting ready as players make their way to the positions. The umpires today, Sam Somerville, James Strybos and Cameron Manthe. They'll be in control of things today. It'll be Archie Smith up against Darcy Cameron to get us moving. Who's your tip, Bob, and by how many?
Yeah, I think Brisbane will get slowly on top over the 4 quarters, win by 3 goals. I'm
going to go with the home team as well. So we're away. Archie Smith over the top down to Matheson. So right, I just couldn't quite get it away cleanly. Matheson on that first occasion. The ball just at ground level, tied up. We'll do it all again. Get your thoughts on some key matchups around the ground as Robinson gets it going the Lions' way to start with. Fullerton comes out, been impressive so far, as that man, Tommy Berry, not riding winners. He's on a winner here at the Lions. Fullerton again got it from Christensen right to the goal square. And that's the opening one for Tom Fullerton. And that's the start the Brisbane Lions would have wanted. One straight after just a minute. The Sydney Swans a little bit shell-shocked as the ball just went their way, the Lions' way, that is.
Yeah, good work out of the middle by Robertson and also Christensen. And as you mentioned, the boy Thomas Berry was good with his hands as well, the boy from the Greater Western Victorian Rebels. And great finish, wasn't it, from Tom Fullerton? He's impressed us early in the year. I remember a game against Aspley where he kicked 4 and his work at ground level was very, very good. And that was a beautiful snap.
That it was. 30 to 40 metres on the angle, out of side. Kick truly. So they're away early, the Lions. Bounce back in the middle of South Pine. Darcy Cameron was looking for Rose, couldn't quite find him. He gets him now Off to Clark. Sydney get it going their way. Just standing tall there at centre-half back was Ballenden. Gets it off to Coleman. Been a bit of a sensation as a rookie player. Bastanak, the captain for today, just puts it down forward. Well done there by the Swans defence. Pink, he's tied up there. And the ball will be thrown up. Half-forward flank out of side. Lions attack.
Yeah, good mark there from Ballenden. He's improving as each game goes by.
Matheson inside forward 50. The Swans through Stoddart, although he does turn it over. McFadgen off to Lyons. Lyons lines them up. And that's 2. 2 in 2 minutes for the Lions. Well, we suggested, well, at least you did, Bob, that it might be tied early, but the Lions, they've got away to a flyer here.
Certainly have. It looks like if there is any breeze, I think it is to the right of screen, but certainly the way that they've controlled the footy has been excellent, and good tackle there from Eli Smith, and forced a turnover from Stoddart, I think it was, and then a great finish from the ball magnet. Corey Lyons, a boy from Sandringham Dragons, who's really, as well as got a magnet on the footy, he's got great endurance, so he'll keep running all day.
So the goal kickers, Fullerton and also Lyons, both in the first 2 minutes. Christensen down to Matheson. Just looks to go one way and then just comes back to the outer side and heaves it inside forward 50 again. And this time, unable to take it, was the Lions forwards. And that was Barkley who mops up. Gets it off to James Rose. Been a phenomenal player at NEAFL level especially. Just probably hasn't been able to transpose that to AFL level so much. Lions will come away. It's Lyons, Coleman, Robertson, who started proceedings there. And now off to the rifleman Matheson, right to the boundary line. That looked like out of bounds and the full umpire agrees. So they're peppering here, the Lions. Yeah,
good work again from Robertson. Just got a hand in there. It looked like it was going to be an easy mark for Sydney coming out of their back half.
So Toby Pink, back half of the ground. Usually see him up in the ruck and up forward, not in defence, but we'll see how he goes. Wooler swung off it. Ronk with Rose. And Ronk just tries to clear it over the top there. Well done on that occasion by Paul. Archie Smith at ground level. Coleman puts it back inside forward 50. Skinner brings it down to the front. Almost took it, couldn't quite do so. At ground level now. Keys applies the tackle to keep the forward pressure on for Brisbane. Not going too far. Pink lays a tackle on Skinner. We'll have a ball up. Run by McKellar as well there for the Swans.
Yeah, big-bodied academy boy. McKellar's been playing well for the Swans Academy.
Isn't he what? Big-bodied. Matheson, I think he just went down to the knees to try and draw the free kick. Umpire saw that and said, no, nothing there. Well done there by Cameron. Doesn't quite get it to a teammate though. Matheson swoops upon it. It's it back. Allison. Nice beard. And Lyons almost brings it down over row bottom. Christensen. Well wrapped up there by Ronk. Good tackle. So the ball camped in Brisbane's forward half so far. Inside 56 zip. And we've only been playing not even 5 minutes. Christensen again can't get the ball free, although it spills out. Lyons keeps it in. McKellar just quickly got the kick away with no great effect, and Clark had to do likewise out of defence. Armadi comes out, couldn't take it. Brisbane just tried to come through. Bailey, Ballenden, attacking in the Bees. And the ball inside again, so 7 zip. Christensen can't do it cleanly, but has another go. Keys, forced to hold on to the ball as the tacklers all around him, and it's going nowhere. And Ling applies a tackle and a little bit of agitation to go with it.
Yeah, triple tackle there. That's a good sign for the Swans, but they are second of the ball. They've got to start getting their hands on it when it hits the ground.
Fullerton took front spot. Matheson, Bastanak on the left, measures one up, but only finds O'Riordan. So well done by the Swans there, the defence. It's a matter of whether they can extract it from defence cleanly. Goes wide. Finds Barkley. And they'll just work it out here. Clark's got a little bit of room to move, so he can try and measure one. Does so. Finds McInerney. So still inside defensive 50. Goes out to the outer side. Finds Rose. Can they open it up? They need a runner. They've got one there. Going to go out wider again. And the kick from Pink just probably didn't do him or the side justice. Out of bounds it is on the outer wing.
Yeah, that's what they've got to do, though, the Swans. They've got to switch the ball around and use their pace. They've got some really pacey players. Foot, Ling, Ronke, Stoddart, those types. They need to get them into the play.
Cameron took front spot, but Smith edged him under the ball and then kicked it out of the ruck contest. Pink just got Skinner out of the way. Gets it to O'Riordan. Just comes out wide. Looking for and finding Drum. No, just beat him over the line. So just a little bit unsure with hand and by foot at various times, and gives the Lions a chance to just keep the ball inside 50 and score.
Just seemed to get further with the distance. The ball seems to be floating further to the right of screen, doesn't it, for sure?
Skinner went up against Cameron, was no match, but then Cameron just kicked it straight to Allison. Dodgy left. And this guy hasn't got a dodgy left. He can really load it up. He goes on the right. Right to the goal square. The fist from the defence. Lions coming through. And he'll get back on it now. I actually meant Lions coming through in numbers at ground level, not Corey Lyons, who was just hanging out of the pack there.
There's actually Thomas Berry, who just about perfectly crumbed that front and centre there and nearly kicked it off the ground through the goals.
Cameron versus Skinner again. Cameron again, but sharked that time by Bastanak. Off to Stackelberg around the corner. And that's 3. 9 zip in inside 50s. And 3 goals straight. The Swans haven't looked like getting near it. Well, they haven't even got inside their 50. So it's been tough going for the Swans early, Bob Batty.
Certainly has. Like we mentioned that the Lions were chock a block full of listed and rookie listed players, but they've come with a passion to play as well. It doesn't matter how many listed and rookie listed you got. It's how you approach the game and how you're thinking and how you have set yourself up for this big contest. And the Lions have come to play, and well done to Cody Stackelberg. That was a nice snap. He's had a couple of games with the Lions Academy as a 19-year-old, and the rest of the footy's been here with the NEAFL team. So well done to him. Good snap.
Is he David or Ben's boy?
Oh, I'm not sure.
I'm going to say David's boy. So hello to the Stackelberg family. Lovely family. Played for Maine in the QAFL back in the old days. And here we go again. The Lions have control of it, although Cedric Cox gave it to Joyce under pressure. Ronk applies a tackle and stymied their forward movement on that occasion and stuck on the outer wing. Cameron again. He'll rack up hit-ups all day if this is the norm. They're just going to work it out of defence here. Bastanak to Allison. Just quick kick. A bit of a chaos ball. Cedric Cox applies the pressure. Rose is there. Skinner as the ball just sweeps out. Fortunately, couldn't get an effective handball. No, Reardon just gets it back going his way out of wing and floating across the pack nicely. That was Payne. The boy from Noosa looking for Zach Bailey. The kick wasn't a good one. Puts them under pressure. First inside 50. Armadi can't hit a handball target. Allison runs onto it. He'll repel, but only tapped it as far as row bottom. Didn't get paid the free kick as he just went to ground. Play on's a call. Armadi back to Rose. Little short kick, and he finds Zach Foot. So what can they build here? Not a lot of movement, I've got to say, up forward. Armadi's at target. Payne with the spoil. Armadi at ground level. Got it back to row bottom. Ball smothered there by Allison. Robinson. Joyce. Fullerton couldn't handle it. It was Robertson again, but can't do anything effective. Armadi comes up with it. Goes around the corner. It's their first score. Is it a good one? Yes, it is. So good work there by the Swans. They did well. And Zach Foot in there as well. They got it to Armadi when it resulted in the goal. The one that was really badly needed there, Bob Batty.
No doubt at all, Kango, yes. And good snap there from Armadi. And look, he's a developing player, isn't he, off the rookie list. Boy from Sandringham Dragons with a basketball background. And that was a beautiful snap. And the straight kicking continues. 3 goals to 1. And good work also from James Rowbottom with the smother there to keep the ball in the forward line. They're doing the desperate things. They're tackling. and the smothering, they just can't get their hands on the footy. So that might give them a lift.
Well, tackles, it's 10-5 Sydney's way. Possessions 50-32 Brisbane's way. Inside 50s 9-2. Hitouts 7-5 Sydney's way. Clearances 8-3 Brisbane's way. So there's just some Champion Data stats. Thanks to our good friends at Champion Data. Do a great job, as do Bar TV, who bring us NEAFL TV. The Lions will bring it away. It's Fullerton in the ruck, so spending a bit more time in the middle of the ground. Well done on that occasion by Belbasis, I should say, and get it right eventually. Zach Foote, a goal assist just before with Armadi. So just backward of centre, right on the outer side here at South Pine Sports Complex. And just having the run at it there and taking a nice mark was Connor Ballenden. Short little kick, didn't go the required distance, so they've got to move it reasonably swiftly. Allison to Eagles, the recruit. Off to Jack Payne. Payne, sure by foot there. Well done there. Finds the Irish boy in Madden. Madden just trying to measure one. Is it inside the line? No. So Tommy Berry was trying to give the boundary umpire a bit of advice, but not to be as Wicks comes up with the ball. Front spot was Eagles.
They're just too big back there, aren't they? You've got Payne, Bellenden and Eagles. If they keep the ball in the air like that into their forward line, they're going to have a lot of trouble, the Swans.
The kick wasn't a good one there by Wooler, but he was under pressure. Skinner goes at it. He couldn't get involved. Giving it up there was Clark, so the ball just put back inside forward 50 for Brisbane. Well done and good attack by the Swans player there down deep in defence, but Keys comes away, just a little dinky kick. Finds Bailey. Bailey just has Matheson on the run, bursting into an open goal, and a good chase there by Sam Wicks. He thought he had more time. Matheson, too casual. Not enough talk, Bob.
Yeah, well, he should have kicked it earlier, shouldn't he? He just took one step too many. And good work there from Sam Wicks, who's more usually a forward, so great tackling from him.
Great pressure. They win the ball here, the Swans. McInerney involved there. Little chipping ball eventually finds O'Riordan.
It's the sort of thing that'll spur them on a bit too, a tackle like that to stop a goal. They look like for sure to get a goal in the Lions.
There's a lot of players around the contest. Eagles did well on the second bite of the cherry. Plucked it. He always looked like he had the run of it there as he came in from the side of the pack. Just goes long. Right to forward 50. Smith is the target, just gets rid of his man. Clark just bats it forward for the Swans going his way. Unable to take it there was Zach Foote. On that occasion, well done by Eli Smith. Ball inside. Fullerton gives it to Robertson under pressure. Archie Smith can't handle it. O'Riordan, nice little handball. Finds Clark. He's under pressure, coughs the ball up. Joyce, hot footy in there all of a sudden. Archie Smith just funnels it out. Robinson just gets his toe to the ball, so play on's the call. They might come away with it here. With the kick was Kilpatrick. Goes out wide. Rose just uses his experience nicely at half back. They do well. Bill Basses gives it back to Rose. Looking for the run. But first back there was Madden. Now to Eagles. Just chips the ball inside and in descending number order. I was going to say finds Payne, but he dropped what he should have taken, then was too casual with it. Wicks, Ronk, round the corner. And Eagles just rushes back to just get a hand on it and push it over. Jack Payne, a little bit too casual.
Yeah, look, they've certainly got the size advantage back there, but pace-wise, if the Swans can get in quickly and do some chaos kicking into the forward line, they might have some more success.
It was Bailey to Eli Smith, now to Matheson. And that kick's not a good one. Only finds Nathan Coxall. Gives it to Stoddard. Just tries to use his pace to get away. And just delivers it nicely. And finds James Bell. Right on forward 50. Shape to go. Just looking for a little target. Ronk it is. Right there was Madden with him. But swooping on it, there was Rowbottom and hits the post. It's a good build-up. Just didn't get the result.
Yeah, slowly working into the contest, aren't they, the Swans? Important 5 minutes here for Brisbane to consolidate.
Keys. So they brought the ball back in quickly. They've got players through the corridor here. Robertson. Not sure where to go, so he retreats. Just the method's not quite, well, the method's okay. It's just making sure they get what they need to go more efficiently. Joyce inside forward 50. Berry can't handle it. The Swans working hard in defence. Eli Smith can't get out of the way of Tommy Berry. Just gives it to Toby Pink instead. And Pink, that ball doesn't find a teammate. And was looking for Wicks. And the ball spills out of bounds and right in front of the Brisbane interchange box.
Yeah, look, the first 5 to 10 minutes, Brisbane's ball use was spot on. Hardly missed a target. Just the last 5, 6, 7 minutes, missing targets by foot and hand.
Marty in the ruck. No real clear winner, though. James Bell slips over. Matheson, little handball across. Unable to take it there was Keys with him. And just working hard there was McInerney. Almost earned a free kick for mine. Bastanak, just handball more in hope than anything else. Just McKellar was buffeted off the ball. Now it ends up with Lyons. And round the corner, that's 2 for him. So Corey Lyons doing very well early. He's been in amongst it, right in the middle of the ground, and now he's got 2 goals for his 5 possessions. And the Lions, after the Swans had just shown a little bit of that flying the flag and a little bit of vigour there, just strike back on the scoreboard. So 4 goals straight, 24, leading the Swans 1-8. We've played 18 minutes of the first quarter.
Yeah, just cleaner possession that time, wasn't it, when they went forward? Connor McFadgen, that was the way you really get hold of the footy. One grab, bang, got the handball off. And a great finish from Corey Lyons. He's kicked 2 nice goals now, and that'll really give him a heap of confidence, a 20-year-old.
A little bit of rain here over the last few days. The ground looks in beautiful nick, but it might be just a little bit slippery underfoot. Overcast skies, but not really sure there's too much more rain to come. Bounce will be recalled, so players will reset. Away again, Archie Smith. A bit more adept in the ruck than Armadi on that occasion. Ball at ground level. Armadi goes after it. Cops a high one, so he'll win the free kick. Quick handball. Finds James Rose. Rose looking for Wicks. Madden was there. Good pace and kept his feet well there, the Irishman. And then delivers it nicely to Cody Stackelberg. Just hitting up half forward very nicely as academy player, knowing what to do there and the system they want to play with. Gets the ball off to Archie Smith. Traverses, comes to Zach Bailey. Second bite, gets it, picks it up. Allison runs after he gives it to Christensen, but in turn Christensen gives it to Corey Lyons, a dual goal kicker. Very deliberate build-up here, Bob. Now they're a little bit stuck. Targets Fullerton, does it well. He's had the height advantage, but you still got to catch it. The big long arms of Tommy Fullerton did well. Just lays the ball up. Sam Skinner just crashes the pack. Matheson and gives it across to Ben Keys. The method was good, and the way they went about it was excellent. The build-up, the planning, and they delivered.
Yeah, no, it was well executed, as you said, and good mark. I think the key there was they isolated Fullerton with a smaller opponent. I think it might have been Rory Barkley over near the boundary line. They saw that and they used it well, and he took the mark and he didn't overkick it. He kicked it towards Skinner, who crashed the pack. Ball ended up over the back, and good work. Matheson's handball, I think it was, right at the end to give Ben Keys his first goal. But, yeah, great movement from the Lions, and they've, I suppose, re-established that dominance that they had in the first 5 or 6 minutes.
So 22 points the margin. We've played nearly 21 minutes of the first quarter. Matheson's had 9 disposals. Robinson 8. Rose for Sydney's had 7. Rowbottom. That's the clearance. Leading the race here is Allison. Shows a clean set of heels to his forward there. Ball inside forward 50. O'Riordan does well. Just really put his body in there, protected the drop zone and went hard at the footy. So Colin O'Riordan. Nice kick. Finds McInerney inside the centre square here at South Pine. Looking out wide up, pushing back hard there was Kadeen Coleman. And excellent work there. Finds Allison. True centre half back he stands. He's been very impressive, is Coleman. Bob?
Yes. Yeah, no, he's had a fantastic year playing both as a defender and up forward the last couple of weeks, kicking a number of goals.
Bailey has put it in the path of Matheson. He just threw the one arm out. Probably not what the coach would want from him. Toby Pink, under pressure, gets a kick away and only gets it back as far as Zach Bailey. They retreat. Ballenden goes out very wide. Here's that man we were just speaking about. Coleman. Very flashy, but certainly keen to work. Bastanak to Wooler. Just working hard up the ground, the forward. Christensen in the middle of the ground. Have Jack Payne in front of the NEAFL TV commentary position. A little bit of room to move. Measures a kick to Matheson. This will be number 10 for him. Disposal, that is. Goes up towards Archie Smith. Over the back it goes. Skinner was at ground level. Couldn't take it. So inside 50s now 16-4, Bob. So
yep.
that's a lot.
That's
and
a
real heavy weight in anybody's language.
And they've finished it well too, haven't they? The chances they have had, they've taken, apart from the one Matheson should have kicked early and kicked through for a goal.
Cameron with Archie Smith, Wooler, ground level. Corey Lyons, mentioned he's got 2 already. Robinson had the sit. Just wasn't sure what he was doing, but Bastanak just ran onto it. Easy as you like. The ball just fell his way. Robinson, I thought, was looking for mark of the year. And just got up a little bit before acceptances, but got a hand on it. The ball spilled at ground level, and Bastanak just swooped. Easy goal. And that's 6 for the Lions. Lead out to 28 points. 23 and a half minutes gone of this first quarter. This is probably not what we expected in terms of the margin. And we suggested it might be a bit tight early, Bob. Not so at the moment.
No, definitely not. The Lions have come to play and they've really stamped their mark on this game right from the first bounce. So you had a period there, the Swans, where they forced their way back into the contest and had some chances. But they really need a late goal now to resurrect this, 28-point lead.
It's a little bit concerning for Jeremy Laidler, the coach of the Swans. Eli Smith, he's a bit of a bull, just learning his craft at AFL level. Wooler, having a little bit of a go inside forward 50. That looked like a mark to me, not paid. So they get back on it. So they're under pressure here again, the Swans. McKellar just escorts it over. And it was just trying to pick up who that was that almost took the mark.
Tried to Riley Stoddart? I'm not sure. It's hard to pick up. But, yeah, it looked a mark for me. He had first, second and fourth probably. Someone may have touched it in between.
Cameron, front spot. Christensen took front position at the ground level, and Cameron just followed up his work and put a lot of pressure on. He's a hard-working ruckman. He's Darcy Cameron. 9 hit-outs so far for Darcy Cameron. Hit-outs overall 9-8. That one goes the way of Archie Smith, row bottom, just working hard. And Archie Smith just follows it up at ground level and quick kick out of the pack, just pushes across the face. So that's the first blemish on the scoreboard. And they move to 6-1. 37 to the Swans, 1-2-8. And dangerous signs as Pink gets the ball. Back now to O'Riordan, now to Clark, out of side. Well done there by the young man in drum. Couldn't quite take the mark, but brought it to the ground. That's what they would want. But the kick, the subsequent kick from only found Kadeen Coleman for the Lions. So he retreats, and they find some space and try to spread. Ballenden has Robinson and Keys, and it just absolutely nutmegs Ben Keys. Toby Pink gets back on it, gives it to Rose. Now to Stoddart. Forced a pirouette, and then the kick wasn't good. Kicked it straight to Skinner. Skinner launches it, hoping for the run of a player. And the ball just is escorted over there by McKellar. So horrible turnover there. Could have resulted in yet another goal. And that time, the offender was Stoddart, Bob.
Yeah, he's got the ball back again, but yeah, he wanted his time over again with that last kick that found Skinner beautifully. And he should have been a chance there from 50 on the go, but didn't quite connect properly. But, yeah, they're really desperate at the moment, the Swans. They're just clinging on for grim death.
Bill Bassett got it from McKellar. Now to Stoddart, so he had it from the kick-in. So the ball didn't travel very far. I think about 4 or 5 possessions in between time. Good kick on that occasion. Finds McInerney. A little bit of room to move. Finds James Bell, although he spent it before he had it. And is forced to give it back to Pink. Pink off the one step, just kicks it up. Armadi's a target. The big tall timber of the Lions there. All done by the Swans. Just wriggling out of one was Kirkpatrick, or Kilpatrick, I should say. And it was holding the ball as a decision. And Zach Bailey will win the free kick.
Yeah, I think the umpire's stating that he put the ball on the ground when he was tackled. He might have been off balance and did it, but yeah, it was pretty tough.
Ball goes to the back, McKellar to Bill Bassis. Little short one finds Rose, half forward. Gives a long handball into Stoddart, into the corridor, gets around Cedric Cox. Little chipping ball looking for Armadi. Just couldn't handle it because it came in hot. Allison turns around on the unfamiliar left. Wooler, good gather on the half volley. Gives it to Skinner. Skinner was down the line. McFadgen couldn't quite handle it. Right through the fingertips. Pink's there. And then good tackling pressure applied by Tom Berry. And the ball tied up under a number of players. They're right in front of the Swans interchange bench, where the margin at the moment is 30 points in favour of the Lions. 28 minutes gone, first quarter.
Yeah, good closing speed there from young Thomas Berry. And I like this first quarter of Ballenden.
Have to agree with you there. Ronk got the ball going his way. Row bottom. Feeds the ball in. Chain of handballs ends up with Clark. He got it on that occasion from Foot. Good strength. And well done there by Zach Bailey. And likewise from Darcy Cameron, who just got rid of Sam Skinner. Well done by the big ruckman. Little chipping ball finds Ling. Just goes sideways. Just trying to spread the defence here of the Lions, but they're back in numbers. Every player in front of the centre circle. Little kick finds Clark. Ryan Clark plays on quickly. It's right to a dangerous spot, but right there was Eagles. And they're happy to go pretty quickly. Finds Bastanak. Go out wide. Keys on the left. Measures it nicely. Finds the boy in Tom Joyce, the Western Australian. Out to the outer wing. That wasn't a good kick. Bastanak in fringe. Umpire said no free kick. It was Henri O'Riordan. And then Coleman just pushes over Zach Foot. And the ball over the line. So we'll reset right on the outer wing.
Just going back to those Sydney forays forward then, Ling had the right idea, used his left foot and chipped it short. Looked at the player leading up to him. Ryan Clark got it and kicked it high. It was all Matty Eagles. They've just got to lower their eyes and go short.
They do have the tall timber back there. Skinner did well. Eli Smith with the clearance up towards Fullerton. O'Riordan, though, had front spot and did well. A little bit more experience, which is quite ironic, saying about the Irishman going up against the basketballer. Been back in it for a few more years. Yet Fullerton, till we can say, matches O'Riordan. Of course, AFL experience, Colin O'Riordan.
Yeah, all Ireland, all Irish, wasn't he, for the Gaelic footy as well? He's a great sportsman, Colin O'Riordan.
He is. And as the ball went inside forward 50, the siren sounded. So we'll stop proceedings there. It was the Brisbane Lions getting out of the blocks. They had 2 in the first 2 minutes of the game. For the quarter, they've ended up at 6 goals to 38. The Sydney Swans 1-8. So the margin at quarter time is 30 points. Just a couple of quick stats there before I hand over to Bob Batty for his thoughts. Possessions overall, 136 to 93. Marks 35 to 25. These are Brisbane's way. Tackling going the Swans' way. They've been second to the ball, though, 19 to 12. Inside 50s, 21 to 8. A damning statistic right there. Clearances 14-6 Brisbane's way, and hit-outs going Sydney's way 13 to 8. It's been all Brisbane Lions, barring a little bit of resistance from Sydney after the first couple of goals that Brisbane kicked, Bob.
Yeah, look, a dominant quarter really, apart from probably 4 or 5 minutes where a few fumbles and a few missed handballs and a few missed targets let Sydney in, and they managed to kick a nice goal through a Marty. But yeah, all credit to Mitch Hahn's team. They really come to play and started out of the blocks well. Sydney have been actually a little bit slow to start. I remember against Redland 2 weeks ago, they were very slow out of the blocks and came home with the wet sail. So Jeremy Laidler's got plenty of ammunition here at quarter time to get stuck in. They've had a few good contributors. You mentioned the boy O'Riordan. Toby Pink's tried hard. Justin McInerney, I like his movement on the wing. And James Rowe-Bottom. And James Rowe's got his hand on it a bit. And for the Lions, look, they've had probably a dozen players you could put into this group. But I've just liked the work of Ballenden. Robertson started the game very well. Allison's been good. Bastanak has been important. And Matheson's got his hand on it a hell of a lot. He's just got to finish his work a little bit better. But yeah, certainly a great quarter by the Brisbane Lions.
Well, as the players get some messages, we'll take a little bit of a break and we'll be back with you for the second quarter at South Pine Sports Complex. It is Brisbane by 30 points. And at quarter time on NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partner Bar TV, it is the Brisbane Lions by 30 points here at South Pine Sports Complex over the Sydney Swans. Mark Kennedy joined by Bob Batty. It was all one-way traffic, Bob.
Yeah, certainly was. Great start by the Brisbane Lions. Let's see what Sydney can do in this second quarter.
Archie Smith gets things underway with the hit out. Matheson on hands and knees. Tackled there by Rowbottom and also Clark. Christensen puts himself in there. Rowbottom does well. Just funnels the ball out. Well done there by the Swans. They get the ball going their way. And they're inside forward 50, but the Lions have had all the answers. Zach Bailey has been there and just cleverly disguises it. Just looking for those players who are involved there. That was Foot and also McKellar. Back with the ball went inside forward 50. Like to give the players the credit they deserve. Darcy Cameron took front spot. His throw was a little bit short on that occasion. Archie Smith lays a tackle on his opposing ruckman and then gives away a free kick for being too high. He argues and throws his head back in a little bit of angst, frustration. And Darcy Cameron has the chance to kick the Swans third after the Lions kicked the 6 goals in the first quarter. Oh, the second, sorry. I'll try to give them an extra one.
Yeah, well, they're hoping that this could be their second. But, yeah, look, a tough kick from that pocket. But Corey Lyons showed him how to do it earlier with a beautiful kick from nearly the same spot.
So Darcy Cameron, all 204 centimetres of him, comes in. Tight angle, kicks it from about 35 and just hangs it out to the right. It stays there.
Been a good contest, hasn't it, the two ruckmen, Archie Smith and Darcy Cameron. You can see the improvement of Archie Smith. He's getting a lot more of the ball at ground level and around the contest.
Jacob Allison's entrusted to bring the ball back in and then just takes the one wood to it. Up to Wooler, took a good mark. He tried to play on quickly. Didn't do the best of jobs of it. Bastanak gives it to Keys and they're away now. Outer wing. Right to forward 50, Christensen. Will win the free kick for a hold. He goes against McKellar. In fact, might be Paul out there. And Christensen did all the work early, and the umpire saw the hold late. Little chipping ball finds Ben Keys. Been a prolific goal kicker for the Lions in his NEAFL career.
Yeah, he started fairly slowly today. Got that one goal. It was a nice handball over the top to him. So he'd be looking to slot this one through and give him a big lift.
So Ben Keys, tight angle. Not too dissimilar to what Darcy Cameron did across the face. This one and spoiled through for a behind.
Don't think that was Ben Keys. We'll just check on that one. Ben's a left footer, so doesn't matter. Anyway, it's finished. Gone.
Can't get them all right, Bob.
No.
Including me.
No, but I thought it was him initially.
Yeah, wife tells me all the time how wrong I get it.
I think it was Tommy Joyce.
So apologies to Ben Keys and apologies to Tommy Joyce as well. Although Tommy Joyce, the way he kicked it, probably thought I was hoping it was Ben Keys.
He'll claim it.
Darcy Cameron. We'll get back to the footy here. Moves it over. Finds Barkley, who in turn goes to McKellar and then just turn the ball over. And that's Ben Keys with the familiar left. And Fullerton, he was just dragged off it as he went to jump into it to get to the front of the contest. He wins the free kick. And Tom Fullerton kicked the first goal of the game. He can line up for number 2 and kick the first goal of the second quarter potentially.
Just looking too big and strong, aren't they, for the Swans' defence? Down back as well, they look too big and strong.
So Fullerton, hand or foot to goal, to the umpire's 2 fingers, no problem. So the first goal in the first quarter, the first goal in the second to Tom Fullerton. The Lions 7th of the game. They move to 7-3-45 at the moment. They're making a bit of a mess of the Sydney Swans. 1-3-9. The lead already at 36 points.
Yeah, great start again of the second quarter from Brisbane. And look, they're using each other well, aren't they? They're running to dangerous spots. They know exactly where to set up behind the footy, and they're using the ball quite well by foot. And both Christensen and Fullerton using their body well there when they've had marking opportunities up forward, and Swans defenders are giving away free kicks.
This looked bigger right across the ground. Underway again. Cameron just stayed down and took advantage there. Lyons gets it out of the middle. Foot races on. Stoddart just had front spot. Got a hand in there. Clark did well. Row bottom. Now back to Stoddart. A little bit of ground to move. Uses his leg speed. Finds a bit of space. Goes long on the left. Armadi's the target. Ball over the back. Ronk was there. Couldn't take it with him. Ballenden just tries to break away. Not quick enough. A quick kick from Kilpatrick. Only finds Jacob Allison, and the Lions can come away here again and just manage to find Bastanak, who gets in front of Wicks. Bastanak's kick wasn't a good one. O'Riordan, he's taken down without the footy, so surely he wins the free kick. He does.
First target he's missed, I think, Ryan Bastanak. He's been very effective with ball use today, both by hand and foot, and playing on that far wing. He might have been the player that had that shot at goal earlier with those blue boots. We got him right at long last.
Yep, so 13 disposals, a couple of goals and a couple of clearances for Bastanak, but that's O'Riordan with the ball. Able to find a target. And the attempted target was big Darcy Cameron down there, just trying to make his presence felt up forward. Couldn't quite clasp it in the big mitts. So the Swans will be looking for a score here, just to try and shore things up, make an impact on that deficit that they find themselves here at the moment. Robinson, he's tied up, taken to ground. Little quick snap around the corner. Just too near. I didn't quite see who got that one away. It might have been Rose around the area there. The Encyclopedia of NEAFL Football, Bob Batty, nodding in agreement with my estimations. Go from taking the naked eye look straight out without the binoculars to putting the binoculars up. I lost one. And Bastanak has it. He'll bring the ball back in from defence.
Their defence has been really solid, hasn't it? Kadeen Coleman's been excellent across half back, and Allison, Ballenden, Eagles have all been solid in defence.
Bastanak goes low and hard and straight to the opposition. So you said he was being good by foot and turned the ball over. In the last two touches, he's done exactly that. Bob Batty, beautiful, putting the mocker on a player. Darcy Cameron, it is. Sets the ball up. Armadi was the target. Eagles with the big fist. And the ball quick over the boundary line again. So I'll have a throw in. So at least it's staying inside the Swans, inside 50, or their offence, if you like. Chance to get involved.
Yeah, repeat entries. That's what they want. They want to keep the ball in there and get it to ground. They're going to be outmarked. They want to get it to ground as often as they can.
Cameron and Archie Smith again. Nick Robinson gets the quick kick away. Well done there by the Lions. And there by McFadgen. Got it to Corey Lyons, and the kick just wasn't a good one. Happy for it to go out of bounds, and they can reset because they've taken the ball out to half back now at least.
Good clean take there by Connor McFadgen. I have been impressed by this youngster, both in the under-18 series last year in the championships, and also earlier this year in some of the NEAFL games.
Just needs to get his body right. Bastanak round the corner. Stackelberg went past him. McFadgen again was involved. The Lions just shuffle it forward through Stackelberg. The ball just finds its way out to Skinner. One there. Finds Eli Smith. Ends up with Matheson. Little one around the corner. Finds Bastanak over the top. And Cedric Cox running into an open goal. And it was the urgency there of O'Riordan who just spoiled it. Again, a little bit casual at various times, Bob.
Yeah, no, that was one that should have put it down. It was good work by Matheson to centre it. And, Bastanak found Cox, and he should have put the afterburners on, I think, Cedric. He's got the speed, but he didn't on that occasion. Good work, O'Riordan. Can't take anything away from him.
Well done. James Madden just copped a heavy one after the James Rose kick. Just coming through and collecting him there was Kilpatrick. The ball on the outer side now. Still deep in the Lions' defence, Alan Christensen. Just a willing ball. Looking for McFadden. Finds him. That's a very casual kick, though. Turns it over. Marty to James Bell. Deep inside forward 50. Well done there by James Madden. He's recovered quickly. Little kick, just sits it up. Nobody there, though. Allison was there for Brisbane. Little one to Coleman. We're still at half back, so well done there. Good passage of play. Archie Smith goes wide. Alan Christensen has the run of it, has plenty of space, so he decides to go now. Pursued by Amati, but the kick inside forward 50. Just going back there was Eli Smith. Fullerton was there. In fact, it was Skinner was there. He was bowled over by Toby Pink. And Sam Skinner can go back and try and shoot for his first goal for the afternoon. Good work on the back half by James Madden.
Wasn't it? Yeah, no, as you mentioned earlier, he was in the hands of the trainers. He copped a real heavy one in a marking contest, and great to see him bounce straight back up and win a contested footy and stop it. Looked like a certain Swans goal from a poor kick from McFadden. Give him a rap, and what happens?
Sam Skinner kicked right through the ball, but it was offline across the face, and it's only a minor. Been a little bit off target here in this second quarter, 1-3 to 1 behind. So the scoring has been somewhat stymied from the first quarter where 7 goals were kicked. We've just had the 1 in 11 minutes of play. Reardon is long and high. At the back there was Tommy Fulton all by himself. So the Lions can reload. Just setting their defence behind the ball really well. Kick wasn't the best from Fullerton. Just didn't have enough on it to get over the top of Darcy Cameron and the approaching forwards. So Darcy Cameron, little one, looking for Rose. Can't take it. Clark. And then just getting absolutely pummeled was Ronk by Stackelberg. Off the ground goes Rowbottom. And then I thought was nearly going to give a free kick away. No, says the umpire. At the bottom of the pack there was Toby Wooler, and he'll get up. I'll have a throw in. Not far from the NEAFL commentary position here, Bob.
The main Stackelbergs, they liked a bit of a Barney too, I hear, Kanga. So young Stackelberg there making his presence felt.
The boys rough and ready. I think Cody.
Connor plays at Aspley, doesn't he?
Boys, I'm sure, are no different somehow. Darcy Cameron just gets rid of Fullerton. Ball ricocheted. Well done there by McInerney. Ling put under pressure. Ball shared. Foot. And Foot got his foot.
The wrong time.
And it'll be a kick to the foot of a Brisbane Lions player in Tommy Berry. Out of bounds on the full. Good pressure. Berry just sits it up. Looking for the tall timber. Skinner can't get there. The fist came. Bell Bassis. And Cox getting involved there. Just taps it out. Looking to use his leg speed to get involved. Good, solid piece of work there by both players. Just running into a few there was Bailey. He coughs it up now. So the Swans, they can come away with it. Wicks has the ball. The kick was just smothered at the wrong time. It was Jack Payne who just mopped it up and sent it back in the easiest of times. Gets it to Ballenden and Robinson. The ball out towards Cedric Cox on that outer wing yet again. Ball stays in though. O'Riordan just burns off Robertson. Gives it over to Clark. The run of Bell now. Half forward. The Swans are building up here. The kick right to a dangerous spot. Fullerton does well. Just gets a fist on it. Wooler was right there with the crumb and get off to Bassanak. They've done well to repel.
Yeah, good defence again from the Lions. They're setting up well behind the footy. That's a poor kick in. Here's a chance for the Swans.
There is. They can go at it again. O'Riordan had plenty of it. That's a clever kick in the path of foot, but Rose is there. He's a noted goal kicker. Just gets it off, and he does the business. So a little bit of a turnover. Confusion at half-back for Brisbane results in a goal for the Swans. A badly needed one. It was James Rose, the man who took control of it. And he is a dead-eye dick in front of the sticks, Bob.
Yeah, look, he's a quality player at this level, isn't he? I remember his best on ground performance last year in the grand final in a losing team. Probably had it 35 possessions and just dominated play. And look, he's only had 9 games in 5 years at the Swans, and he'd be really itching at getting an opportunity this year. He needs to consolidate and force his way into the senior side. But he is a clever player and badly needed goal for the Sydney Swans.
Well done by Colin O'Riordan. He's been having a cracking game. 14 disposals so far. 4 rebound 50s, 2 inside 50s. Tackle to go with it. Ryan Basnack leads all comers with 18 disposals so far, though, for Brisbane. Cedric Cox runs onto it, just puts the one arm down, can't take it with him. Bill Bassis was there, and now he has the run of it, so he'll pick it up. Second chance. Little fumble, had it smothered. James Bell comes through again. McInerney just feeds the ball laterally, row bottom. Forced to kick off the one step, so probably didn't get the direction he wanted. Eagles with the spoil. Wicks comes through at ground level. Just pushes off Payne, regathers. A little bit of a fumble it was. With a big fist with Matt Eagles, but just into the arms of McInerney. Gives it to Clark, who's put under pressure immediately. Foot's there, also Fullerton. And plenty of players in the contest now, although it does come out. James Bell, Keys with the tackle. Now it'll be tied up.
Yeah, great work, Matty Eagles. I think it was touched off the kick was touched as it was coming in. Otherwise, he would have tried to mark it. But, yeah, stopped a real promising approach there from Sydney.
Just hacked out of midair there by Alan Christensen just to clear it. Stoddart, he's very quick. Just can't pick it up cleanly. And the ball out of bounds. So 60 metres around from the Swans' goal. Where we see the Lions, they lead by 32 points when we played 16 and a half minutes gone of this second quarter.
Just imposing themselves a little bit harder and stronger at the contest now, Sydney. They've evened it up a little bit.
Archie Smith just tried to put in the path of Matheson. Rowbottom with the tackle. Matheson just fed it up, but just went back into the scrimmage. Rowbottom goes again. Good work there, although that time he's just dispossessed by Alan Christensen, who wins the free kick. Now they can get away. Wooler. Rose just tried to interject, but Matty Eagles, it was too big. Little chipping ball finds Cox. He hasn't had the best day so far. Gives it a little short one to Bailey. Bailey just didn't quite get enough purchase on the ball. McFadgen just put his body on the line. Stackelberg, well done. Gets it off to Berry. And there he is again, sticking the 1 mid up on this occasion. O'Riordan saved the day. Well done to him.
Yeah, he takes his own footy wherever he goes. He got 42 of them last week, and he's on track to get pretty close to 40 again. He's just at times a little bit loose, like Corey Lyons kicked a couple of goals on him in that first quarter, but he certainly wins the footy and been tireless for them.
Wicks to Ling to Stoddart to Rose. If I get my run of play there, McInerney, it was just run down at the end by Coleman. And the ball spills just across the face. Probably a little bit disappointing because I thought McInerney might have done a little bit more with that. Didn't know the pressure he was under, so 1 point results. Margin back to 31 points. 18 minutes gone of this second quarter.
They have lowered their eyes a bit though, Sydney, going forward, haven't they? They've been looking for that shorter option and running onto the footy. And that's their best chance of kicking goals against this line defence.
That's right. I agree with that. A kick from Payne wasn't the best it could have been. Rowbottom just did well against Christensen. Wicks, little ball. Just couldn't quite find a teammate there. The teammate was Drum. He was looking for, but outpointed, and eventually comes out to Wooler, and his kick is just awry. To tidy some of these possessions up from both sides. You couldn't find Matheson. Matheson not happy with that outcome.
Yeah, good work again from Bellenden. He's had an outstanding game in this first half for Brisbane Lions in defence.
Back into play again. Joel Smith down to Wooler. Under pressure. Got a little kick forward. Clark with the big spoil. Coleman to Archie Smith. Underneath it, there was Tommy Berry. Did well. He's building nicely. Good player. I like his work rate and like his run. Bastanak just put the one hand up, trying to win the free kick as well as take the mark at the same time. Ball at ground level. Clark working hard. Archie Smith just hitting it down like a ruckman should, looking for a teammate to run onto it. Marty tied up by Eli Smith. Ball going nowhere. Umpire will ball it up. 20 minutes gone to the second quarter. The lead's 31 points.
Yeah, need a lift out of Ben Ronke, Sydney. He's hardly had the footy at all today, and coming back from the seniors, they need him to really fire up.
Nick Robinson just gets it down. That's a very nice mark there to McFadgen. Can't say the same thing about the kick, though, because that was a shank. Here is the man you're speaking about, Ronke. And just straight through his legs. And then he falls over. And then he bumps into a teammate. And Allison, luckily, the kick wasn't a good one. Pink can mop it up. O'Riordan. Stoddart. O'Riordan again. He's dispossessed by Matheson. Belbassis, he fell into his back. No free kick. Clark gets into the path of Armadi. Stoddart. Back to Clark. Just sharing it. Now they're away. Find a bit of space. Bell. Down deep inside forward 50. Ball spills over the back. Rose. A little bit of the Boston two-step. And that's two. As well as two steps, that is 2 goals for James Rose. Light on his feet. And he's dangerous. And we just saw a good example of that. So the margin is back to 25 points all of a sudden as Sydney kick their third. 3-4, 22. The Lions 7-5-47. 21 and a half minutes gone to this second quarter, Bob.
Yeah, well, it's going to take a lot of small steps to get back near the Lions, and they've stopped the bleeding. They've kept the Lions to 1 goal this quarter, and they've kicked it 2. I know it's not many, but they're winning the quarter, and that's a step in the right direction for the Sydney Swans. And yeah, well read by James Rose. Young Madden went up in the contest and left Rose at his feet, and he did the damage. He's second, and he looks dangerous.
So Cameron just stood, deliver, and he picked it up at ground level and got the clearance. So Dan deep inside forward 50. Eagles with the spoil. Bailey just ducked under one, gives it to Madden to Eagles. He just gets it out of the area quickly. Into the path. I was going to say well gathered by Smith. He just couldn't quite clutch it at the end of the day. Keys is there. Feeds it back inside. Coleman. Well done there by Madden. Madden, 2-on-1 for Sydney. O'Riordan had front spot, and just holding on to Wooler was Belbassis, so that's probably a little bit unforgivable. 2-on-1, looked like O'Riordan was going to take the mark anyway. And Wooler gets it quickly off to Sam Skinner, so shot at goal.
Yeah, good work, Archie Smith. He's working hard around the ground. He's making a target on both wings when they're switching play, and he's hands on the haunches now and gasping a little bit, but he's working very hard, Archie Smith. And chance here for Skinner. They need a settler.
They do. Injury racked last couple of years, Sam Skinner. Can't quite get enough purchase on that. Cameron with the big spoil. Tackle from Eli Smith. Ball going nowhere. Umpire will ball it up. Brisbane wouldn't mind, as you said, a steadier, Bob. Into time on of this second quarter. Wooler. Kick smothered. And Sydney Swans defence, they'll come out and get through that. Barkley. And that is a lovely mark by Armadi. Showing his basketball skill, but not his nous because the handball wasn't a good one. Matheson, he's just taken without the ball, so win the free kick. So after a wonderful mark, that was just a poor error.
Yeah, what a shame. A beautiful one-handed mark, and you can just see his basketball background helping him with that.
Coming through the middle was Ballenden, but only succeeded in finding Pink inside forward 50. Goes out wide, finds Rose, half-back, out of side. Chipping ball. Belbassis, he tried to claim the mark and it wasn't. Umpire said play on and Ballenden wrapped him up. Umpire said, no, I'll have it. It definitely bounced before it got to you.
Yeah, I think good call by the umpire. Just didn't quite get to him on the full.
Ball going Sydney's way from the clearance. Armadi again. Jack Payne on that occasion affected the spoil. Coleman couldn't take with him. Stoddart. In fact, it wasn't Stoddart. I'll pick that up in just a moment. But the ball inside forward 50. Verhoes around the corner. Can't quite affect what would have been a very nice goal to get. Player involved there was Kilpatrick. My apologies. A long hair and the man bun. The tied back look got me.
Yeah, and he was a bit critical of his teammate there, Verhoes, because Cooper Kilpatrick had a bit of space and could have ran on open goal there.
That is a lovely mark by Sam Skinner in the pack. That front spot, and the players were bearing down all around him. Ball out to Joyce. Just measures it nicely. Stackelberg. Chipping ball inside. The two academy players combining there. Coleman. Tommy Berry. Gives it inside. Back to Stackelberg. He's going to have to be quick. Rose bears down on him. And touched off the boot. So Eli Smith tried to claim it. But it matters not because he just went back inside around the corner and kicked a nice goal. Good build up there. Stackelberg and Coleman involved there, but finished off there by the draftee and Eli Smith. Under a bit more pressure than he would have hoped for, but that's a steady that Brisbane would have liked coming up towards half-time, Bob. Yeah,
good work, Skinner. Really, Sam Skinner just working so hard from that kick in. He took a beautiful mark, contested mark, got the ball moving, and as you mentioned, the two academy boys, the two 19-year-olds, Stackelberg and Kadeen Coleman, both involved, and good finish. He's been good up there, Eli Smith. He's playing as a defensive small forward and really working hard, and he's been involved in a few goals for the Lions.
So the margin back out to 5 goals. They'll come away with it here again, Brisbane, although the kick smothered there by Rowbottom. Well done. That was on Berry. Joyce gives it to Archie Smith. He couldn't handle it, so Foot couldn't do likewise. Rowbottom again. Geez, he's working hard at ground level. Jack Payne. Handball more in hope than anything else, just to clear it. Clark's there. Just dispossessed by Zach Bailey, and then he's ripped off the ball. Even though the ball was clearly away from the contest. Ryan Clark. Ronk getting involved. That's probably more involvement than he's had of recent times. Trying to fly the flag. Cameron to Foot. Rose is dispossessed, but Rowbottom goes anyway. Right over the top, and it took a full stretch from Matt Eagles to get a hand on it to stop the goal. So only one behind results. Margin back to 29 points. 27 and a half minutes gone, second quarter.
Yeah, Zach Bailey's frustrated the life out of Ben Ronke today. He's hardly touched the footy. And Ryan Clark hasn't had any influence at all. Rowbottom showing the way.
Well done there by Olsen. Involved in the contest. Coleman. Clean set of heels. 3 bounces, that's 4. 5. Gives the ball off now. Oh, Corey Lyons couldn't handle it. And then he goes through again. Taps the ball off to Eli Smith. Round the corner. It deserved the goal from the build-up from Coleman. But not to be as Eli Smith just pulled it to the near side. He's an exciting young player, is Kadeen Coleman.
Oh, that was fantastic play, wasn't it? You can tell that his confidence is sky high and his teammates are backing him, and why shouldn't they when you can do something like that? That was just brilliant play and deserved a goal.
So the Swans on the outer side now. To take it down, they'd love a goal before half-time. Ball off the pack, out of bounds. Got to say, it's just so exciting to see players, not only who have been drafted, but some of these academy players, and it mightn't be a whole game that they put together at various times, but the flashes of brilliance that can be produced at this NEAFL level is something to be admired.
It's a great part of the competition, isn't it?
Clark gets it away for the Swans. Eagles had it wrapped up and then just went straight through his hands, but they'll wrap it up anyway. A kick back in the middle of the ground wasn't good. Corey Lyons. Good handball there to Christensen. Here's that man again, Coleman. Neat little kick. Finds Keys. And the little chipping ball is after the siren, so won't count. And so the margin At half-time of this game is a neat 5 goals. It is the Brisbane Lions 8-6-54, the Sydney Swans 3-6-24. It was 2-4 apiece in that quarter, so the quarter-time margin has been maintained by the Lions at half-time. The Swans have been much better, Bob, and I'll hand over to you in a moment, but just some quick stats. Brisbane, they have had an enormous amount of the ball, 238 possessions to the Swans, 178, marks 70-41. Inside 50, 35-23, Brisbane's way. Clearances, Brisbane have really held sway here, 23-12, even though the hitouts are going Sydney's way, 20-16. Leading possession getters for both sides. Bastanak has 18 for the Lions, including a couple of goals. Zach Bailey's had 16. Wooler's had 15, along with Kadeen Coleman. And for the Sydney Swans, Clark has had 19 disposals so far. A couple of inside 50s, a couple of rebound 50s and a clearance for him. O'Riordan, I think he's been right up there in the Swans' best with 18 possessions, 5 marks, 3 rebound 50s, 2 inside 50s. And Rose, he kicked a couple of goals in that second quarter, 6 marks for him, 4 tackles and 17 disposals. How did you see it, Bob Batty?
Yeah, look, Sydney, good arm wrestle for them to get back at least into the contest. They trailed by that same margin of quarter time of 5 goals, but they nearly won the quarter, and they probably deserved to win the quarter. They had a few more chances than the Lions, but didn't manage to kick too accurately when it counted. But yeah, look, they've had some very good players. You mentioned, certainly I've liked the work of Rowbottom around the packs. His work rate's been great. O'Riordan down back's been good. Toby Pink's tried hard under a lot of pressure. Justin McInerney's come in now the game, and James Rose then that quarter really had a good quarter. So, look, they've worked their way into the game, but look, there's 3 players, and I'll mention them. Ronke, Matthew Ling, who's been on the list a couple of years now from the Falcons, and you know, they've got a lift, and the same with Ryan Clark. They're experienced, well, Ryan Clark and Ronke are experienced players. They've got to lift and give these younger Swans a bit of a real some belief in what they're doing. But for the Lions, they've had some good players. You mentioned them. You could have raffled it in the quarter time, how many players they had that stood out. But I thought Allison's been very good over 2 quarters. Ballenden the same. Bastonak's been good. Robertson faded out of it a little bit, as did Matheson, but they're still been quite good. Like the work of Archie Smith, and certainly the job that Zach Bailey's done on Ronke's been fantastic. So good effort by the Lions, but the Swans are showing that Bloods culture and force their way back into the contest.
The damage was done in the first quarter, but half-time, it is 30 points here at South Point Sport Complex. It's round 5 of the NEAFL on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partners, Bar TV. We'll be back with you shortly for the second half. And at South Pine Sporting Complex, it is half-time here of this round 5 NEAFL clash between the Brisbane Lions and the Sydney Swans. Of course, the precursor to the AFL game later on this afternoon at the Brisbane Cricket Ground, or the Gabba as we know it. Mark Kennedy is my name, joined by Bob Batty. 30 points is the margin in favour of the Lions here. The Swans, they've shown some pluck, they've shown some fight. The Lions, though, they've had more listed players and they've just looked a little bit more polished and really got away to a flyer in that first quarter, Bob.
Yeah, they've looked a better side, haven't they? They've certainly Sydney fought back a little in the second quarter and managed to halve the quarter, which is a step in the right direction for them. It's going to be difficult if there's any sort of breeze. It's to the right of screen where Brisbane are kicking in the third quarter. So if they can at least halve it or even impact on that lead, there's still a chance. But you would think the Lions have got too much ammunition.
Anybody else watching around the grounds, it is Southport leading by 32 points against Sydney University in the other NEAFL game happening right now. GWS got the better of Canberra last night. Underway here again, 30 points the margin. The Lions have control. Here's Coleman. Beautiful handball, sweeping piece of work there. Finds Alan Christensen. Ball goes down deep. Wooler was the target. Couldn't quite bring it down. It was actually Fullerton. I apologise. O'Riordan. Ball down. And a push. Goes against James Rose in the marking contest and goes the way of Alan Christensen. So Christensen just lob it back in. Looking for the tall timber. Darcy Cameron gets involved there. Ballandon's been pushed up forward. Fullerton just puts it in the path of Wooler. Did he get a foot to it, though? In fact, it might have been Joyce. It was Tommy Joyce, actually, that was the man right there on the spot.
He's claiming it, Joyce.
He is claiming it. He stuck the foot out. It was just touch and go, and we probably just don't have the angle. Everyone being consulted. And it's a goal. So Tommy Joyce, well done to him. And that is the first for the second half. It goes the way of the Brisbane Lions. And they push the margin back out to 36 points. He just got buffeted off the ball, but managed to get that foot right in the way at the right time, Bob Batty.
Yeah, good toe poke, wasn't it? Right at the right time. He had two defenders he was in amongst, so a good effort to get his toe on it. But again, good work from Zach Bailey and also Kadeem Coleman running off half-back. They've been both very good players in the first half, and they were involved as well as Alan Christensen, who had quite a first half, but I'm sure he's really keen to pick up in this second half.
Ball back in the middle again. Cameron and Archie Smith. Cameron got it down. Clark, that's position number 20, but just went the way of Tommy Berry, so it's back inside forward 50. Pink threw the arm up. Ballandon got the ball over to Wooler. Wooler goes for a goal and just sprayed it. That was another prime opportunity. And he sprayed it, only just registered for behind, so the margin 37 points now.
Good work, Ballandon, on ground level there, Kanga. He's really picked up in that area of his game. That's one area the second efforts on the ball at the ground last year wasn't very good, but certainly much better what I've seen today.
So Clark for the Swans just takes it to the outer side. Amadi does well. Plucked a beautiful one-hander in that second quarter, and that was a nice mark again. Gives it to Rose. Handball just a little bit shoddy. Darcy Cameron ends up back with Amadi. Rowbottom. Puts it back down deep. Skinner. He just takes a mark there. So the Lions can clean this up. Plenty of players just to choose from. And Zach Bailey. That was a bit of a push on McFadgen. Well done there, though. Getting away with it was McKellar. Man with the kick is Barkley. Look for McInerney. The Lions will clean this up. Robertson. Pink gets a hand on it. Ballandon again. Just tapped into the path of a player, and that player was Berry. That was from Wooler. Joyce, the goal kicker, back to Berry. McFadgen just tidies it up, just cleverly to the top of the square, but just didn't pull it back far enough for Ben Key. So he had the right idea, just the wrong execution. It just wasn't quite where it needed to be, and Matthew Ling just escorted over the boundary line.
Yeah, it was the right move from Ben to lead to the top of the square, but I think Connor, when he first looked up, he saw him right at the top of the square and kicked it to that position, but he'd moved 10 metres further infield.
Rose at ground level from the restart. And both Bell and Coleman both went for the spoil. Christensen, underground handball, finds Keys. Now to Coleman on his favoured left. Goes long, it's close, but just to that near side. And 38 points. So they started the way they started the first quarter, where they were just peppering the goals, and inside 50s were coming aplenty.
Just the way they're structuring themselves around the footy and looking for each other is, very similar to what they did in that first 10 minutes of the first quarter. So they're looking very dangerous again.
Stoddart, that did not look good off the boot straight away. You would have had a good look at that on NEAFL TV cameras there. Magnificent camera work. And it wasn't magnificent work by Riley Stoddart. Bastanak kicks it inside forward 50 and finds Corey Lyons. He's kicked a couple today.
Kicked one for nearly the same spot on the run, didn't he? So he'll know where to kick it to. It's just whether or not he'll have the accuracy of foot.
He's got to kick at the best part of 47 metres. Tight angle. Started out to the right. Stayed out there. So the Lions have kicked 1-3 to open this second quarter. We've played not even 6 minutes, and they've extended the lead to 39 points. The Swans go down the outer side. Armadi with the ball. This is where they've just been held up a little bit. That half-forward line hasn't really functioned real well, because it's been players of this ilk like Matt Eagles who have just held sway. On that occasion, he had the better of Tom Drum. Kick in the middle of the ground. The corridor wasn't great. Christensen just shows the ball. Gives it to Eagles. Gets it back. Jacob Allison not sure where to go. Just chips the ball. Just sat it up a bit, but there in ample time was Bailey. That is just nothing but a shank, that one. Berry off the ground. That was fortuitous. Bastanak gathers. Just puts it into the path. McFadgen was there. Well done by the Swans' defence. McKellar it was. Keys goes around the corner on the left. And it was touched. Touched off the boot. And Keys doesn't like it. He wasn't particularly happy with it. He's a little bit of a greedy forward, he is.
I think he's claiming that they touched his foot and not the footy. But anyway, the goal umpire had a good look at it, as did the fieldy, and they both agreed it was touched.
Well, the Swans took it to the outer side, and it was Jacob Allison that just punched the ball out of bounds and will reset a half back for the Swans, where the ball will be thrown back in.
Been very impressive down back Eagles today, hasn't he? Hasn't looked like letting anything through.
Just sharking the ball from the hit out there was Eli Smith, but Matthew Ling got in the way as the ball just popped inside forward 50. So he'll defend. Goes back out from where it came. Rowbottom was the target. Christensen goes with him. Well done by the big fella Darcy Cameron. Clark just measures it. Foot couldn't handle it. Coleman could. Puts it back with a bit of interest. So the foot race is on here. The boundary line will win out. The ball over the boundary line. Hello to all those viewers, not only around southeast Queensland, but around New South Wales. No doubt you'll be looking to see which Swans are going to step up in the future and be part of that AFL side. And we're looking for some stars of the future here on the NEAFL competition. Darcy Cameron, that punch goes right to the boundary line. And the umpire says we'll throw it back in again. Who's in line for an AFL call up there, Bob? In your
well, look, I like the bounce back from James Rowbottom. He's been dropped this week, but he's certainly put his name forward in this first half, and he'll be up there. And I like the look of young McInerney. I think he'll be a player of the future.
Archie Smith and Darcy Cameron having a little bit of a dance there. Ball close to the boundary line, spills over, so they'll retreat back to receive the ball of some description from the boundary umpire. And lock again. Archie Smith had the better of it on that occasion, but Rowbottom comes away with it. Marty just Had plenty of it, couldn't quite bring it down. Foot tackled by Skinner. But Bell and Armadi do well, although Armadi's handball wasn't good and only finds Ben Keys on his favoured left. And the ball out finds Connor Ballenden. So looks like Skinner and Ballenden have actually just swapped positions. Skinner going down back and Ballenden up forward.
Yeah, well, Sam Skinner was recruited to the club or drafted to the club as a key defender in his junior days. Unfortunately, had a knee reco in his 18th year, but Ballenden certainly was drafted as a forward, so we know where the goals are.
He can really roost the ball too. He gives it plenty there, but was never on line and scraped in for a behind. So inaccurate kicking, 1-5 so far. Put the margin out to 41 points, but it's never likely. Ball back in. McInerney does well. Although just turns the ball over. Archie Smith roosts it. And 1 goal 6 now with that behind.
Just blasting away a little bit, aren't they, the Lions? But it was a good intercept there. It looks like McInerney was away. And Archie Smith with that basketball guard background managed to smother it nicely.
Reardon to Clark. Sits the ball up for Pink. Skinner, defensive spoil. Out of bounds again.
They've certainly got a few tall defenders, the Lions, that they, if Harris Andrews, I know he's just about back. I think he's back next week. But there's a few others in the mix there, isn't there? For sure, in the back half.
Matheson just squeeze the ball out. No great effect. Bastanak. Berry. And there's Stoddart just chimes in at the right time. Well done to him. Finds Clark. Clark's just been racking up possessions. Nothing horribly effective, though. It's fair to say. He's possession number 25 for him. That one's a little bit more effective. Goes out wide. Finds Cameron. Just as we mentioned, this is where they've just been held up and really struggled to get any fluency and continuity. Sits it up. Plenty of players there. Marty couldn't bring it down. Bell, he gets it. Now Rose. Feeds it back inside for Bell. A little bit of good leg speed to just clear the area. Just looking for a target. Can't find one. Christensen's back there to mop it up. Just goes back and just puts it back into the arms of Armadi. So the cleanest from Brisbane coming out. We'll see what the Swans can do this time. Eagles. Just the height just showing through, isn't it? Just positioning. They're just too tall back there. Just puts it out to the wing. Archie Smith just happy to hit it on. O'Riordan just put the foot to it. Ballenden just worked his opponent off the ball. That was Barkley, and then just goes for goal. Just rolls it in. Just that touch more experience Connor Ballenden showed over Rory Barkley. And well done to Ballenden. It's his first for the afternoon and puts the margin out now to 48 points. Too good.
Yeah, look, danger signs now for the Swans, isn't it? They're really working hard in close, but as you said, as soon as they get the ball over the centre line, it's rebounding back very quickly. And Matty Eagles, I don't know how many marks he's taken in defence there, but he's certainly doing it fairly easily back there, and he's got a couple of other tall defenders in Jack Payne, Sam Skinner in the first half, Connor Ballenden, that if he didn't mark it, they did. So good finish from Ballenden. He's really improving his footy, and I know he's been emergency a couple of times this year at senior level, so he's not far off a chance.
Marty and Ballenden in the middle now. Rose got there first, but Ballenden just buffered him off the ball. Rose will get away from the congestion, and Sam Skinner just a little bit more agile on that occasion. In front of Vihus. Good disposal finds Zach Bailey. Of course, did a hamstring in the seniors, the AFL game back 3 weeks ago, I think. Top of my memory. So good to see him back today. Toby Wooler developing nicely at the Lions. Another half forward. Fullerton. And a bit of purchase on it, but Marty and also O'Riordan were the spoilers.
Don't mind Amadi's work rate. He's, I think he'll become a player. He's just got to get better with his hands and by foot, but I certainly like the way he approaches his footy.
Archie Smith just put into the path of Basnak beautifully. It's a quick kick away. Dangerous spot there. Coleman was right there in front of the pack, but the Swans can clear. It was O'Riordan again. A rebound 50. Skinner tries to measure one, looking for Bastanak, and it was Zach Foote who got in the way. And the ball over the boundary line.
Yeah, it's hard to see where the Swans can get back into this. They really haven't had much of a lift from Ronke. As you said, Ryan Clark's starting to get his hand on it, and so is Bell. So, look, they've got players around getting the footy, but they're just not making an impact on the scoreboard.
Coleman lays a tackle. And there, Bell working through. That was Paul involved there. Foot. Armadi just puts it back in the path of Paul. The umpire says we'll ball it up. Ben Ronke, just the 7 disposals, 3 tackles, couple of clearances. That was Clark, couldn't quite work it through. Bell has the run of it here. Here's Clark. Muffled kick somewhat. One on there by Kilpatrick. And just coming through, Belbassis, I think it was, who kicked the ball forward. O'Riordan is involved there. Just trying to find a little bit of run, a bit of carry. An advantage paid. O'Riordan to Rowbottom. Spearing kick, looking for the goals. And if it couldn't be a goal, that's not actually a bad result. It just ran out of bounds. So have a throw in right beside the behind post. The Swans are attacking inside 50s. They tell the story, 50-26 in this game. And also clearance is also telling a story, 27-18, both Brisbane's way.
And I'd say of those 26 inside 50s, they've kicked it to a tall marking option to the lines about 15 times.
It was Madden that cleared for Brisbane. Armadi couldn't clutch it to the chest as it came down. Cox, well done. Corey Lyons, he was taken high. So the umpire picked it up a little bit later than I did, but I had the benefit of the binoculars and a better angle than he did. And free kick still paid. Corey Lyons. Good kick. Coleman. Slippery ball, couldn't handle it. But that kick is right on the money. Finds Fullerton, just chips it inboard and finds Ben Keys. So they've just beaten on the fast break. The ball came away from the stoppage, Bob.
Yeah, look, full credit to Coleman again. Look, none of the Swans players have put their hand up to man Coleman at any stage off that back line. Looks like a loose player, and he's chopping them up. They need to have someone at least man him, and his use of the ball was good there.
So Ben Keys comes in, makes no mistake. 2 goals for Ben Keys. And the pain is further inflicted upon the Swans on the scoreboard, at least 54 points now the margin, as we have played 17 or approaching 17.5 minutes of this third quarter, 11-12-78. Brisbane up and the Swans 3-6-24. It's a bit of one-way traffic.
Yeah, well, you just look at the interchange there. There's 3 senior lines replaced by another 3 senior lines. So what they're taking off the ground, they're replacing straight up, and you look at the Swans and they've got a couple of academy players. I think they must have an injury as well, because they've only got 2 that I can see sitting on the bench at the moment. Oh, there's a couple more.
A couple more. Good hit out there by Archie Smith. Just found the running Matheson. Ballenden couldn't take it. Good work there by O'Riordan with the spoil. McFadgen. Corey Lyons gets it over to Ballenden. McFadgen again. Feeds it inboard. Off one step. Robertson right to the teeth of goal, and Toby Pink just did well. The 247s clash on that occasion. He outpointed Tom Fullerton. Sits it up. Just getting involved there. Well done there by Madden. Affected the spoil, but the Swans come away with it anyway. Wicks goes out wide. Has Verhoes. Hopefully I'm saying that one right. Ronke. He got on the end of that one, but it was out of bounds on the full, so that doesn't count for anything. It was Eagles that mopped it up. Goes to Wooler. And he gets it to Skinner. Right there to guard him is Kilpatrick.
Just about sums up Ben Ronke's day, doesn't it? That kick from Verhoes. Probably should have hit him laces out and went out of bounds on the full in front of him.
McFadgen, chipping ball, was looking for Robertson. He'll get it eventually, but albeit under pressure, although wriggled out of it. Madden on the bounce, looking for Matheson. Ground just knocks over Cameron. Not easy to do, the big tall Tim, but he was off balance. Christensen, chipping ball, and well done there by O'Riordan. He's been the best by a mile for mine. Gets it to Clark. Good spoil there from Jack Payne. Ball down. It's taken away by Brisbane. Payne through the middle. Misses a target. Fullerton Pink there. Well done there by Pink. Just throws Fullerton out of the way. He's tired, O'Riordan. No wonder. Handballs it to himself. Wonder if that's 2 stats right there. Gives it to Pink, and Pink just chips it up to Clark. They give it off. Belbassis. Chipping ball. Can't quite find Drum. And the ball out of play. What about that? Handball to himself, O'Riordan, just racking them up any which way he can. He's up to about 25 disposals.
There is a name for that in Gaelic football where they a little
volley?
kick to themselves.
Do they volley it?
I forget the name of it, but that's virtually what he did there, but by hand. But he kicked it out on the full there, off the back of the shoe, and Coleman's got the ball again.
So off the hands or off the fist of Darcy Cameron. So the margin 54 points.
What's Coleman's stats?
So Coleman's had 19 disposals, 6 marks, 3 tackles, 6 inside 50s, and he's kicked a point.
And about 8 bounces up this wing in that second quarter, which is exciting.
Not bad for one of the academy players. Ball kicked out of the pack by the Swans, just went their way, albeit about 20 or 30 metres out of play. So still in defence. Now in time on of this third quarter. Just the 3 goals kicked, all by Brisbane. 3-6 they've kicked. The Swans haven't scored. Can they impact the scoreboard a little bit here, the Swans? Bailey, he has it. Got it from Corey Lyons, although he loses it. Rowbottom. Inside forward 50. Ronk. Couldn't affect the mark. Madden just made late ground upon him. Jack Payne did well. Matt Eagles gives it to Coleman. We were just speaking about him. Gets here around him. Beautifully. Sold it wonderfully. And a pinpoint kick to Alan Christensen. He's got space. 1 bounce. Looking for a target over the back of the pack. Berry just went reaching for it just to try and stop it going over for a point. Couldn't do so. Get a little bit of excitement down back from Kadeen Coleman.
Yeah, look, he's been the excitement machine. We were expecting Cedric Cox to provide that sort of run and carry, but it's been Coleman all day today.
Stoddard to Kilpatrick. Eagles had front spot in front of Ronk. Here's Ronk. Touch on there. Rowbottom just went with the check side kick, hoping it'd bend. Need to be bending a lot more violently than that for it to be a goal. But it's their first score of the third quarter, the second half. As Brisbane, they bring it back in. So the margin is 55 points. 54 points even, I should say. And Brisbane are away again. Already at half forward. Tommy Berry. Just almost leg there was Pink. I thought he should have got a free kick. O'Riordan. Clark. They're just messing around here just that little bit. They turn it over and Ballinger says, I'm going to put it way back down and we'll start all over again. Unable to handle it was McKellar. Cedric Cox in attendance. Pink, though, got away with it. And Wicks, just a little chipping ball in the middle of the ground. And the Swans, they just can't quite get anything going of any substance, can they? Rowbottom. Kilpatrick. Here in the effects mics, calling out killer. And that's what he's done to the ball on that occasion. He didn't have many options, but he didn't have to kick it straight to Jacob Allison, just the same in defence.
Look, I think they just need to get it. I mentioned earlier in the first half, they just need to get it, even if it's underground, to kick it. Just don't kick it in the air into the Lions' big, tall defenders. So just need to find another way.
So Wooler got it to Zach Bailey. To Christensen. Called to play on. Looking for Robinson. The kick was wonderfully measured. Just found him. Goes inboard and finds Madden. Does well. Short one. So they're trying to come through the corridor. Skinner it is. To Ballenden. Just got on the bounce. And we'll go out wide. That's a dangerous kick because Rose is there. Allison. But Rose got his foot to it first and gives himself a little bit of time to move. Does a bit of a pirouette this way, that way. He's happy to actually take it out of bounds. So, sure, yep, that's deliberate. He submitted to just happily going out of bounds. What you happy with that one, Bob?
Well, a long way away from here, but he looked as though he just strolled over in the end. But, yeah, it was touch and go, but Allison's been a good player today. Poor kick there.
The kick wasn't a good one. And guess who in defence? Colin O'Riordan. Brings the ball back in. Barkley hits it off. That was Drum with the ball. They're just trying to measure something. Ronk almost had his arms chopped, so probably could have got one for mine. Involved there is Paul. And Johnny Paul from the University of New South Wales. And Johnny Paul will get up, sidle on back, look for a man to stand up, mark up, do it all again. Darcy Cameron, the ball bounced between both ruckmen. He picked it up on the bounce. Roving the pack wonderfully there was Madden, but his tackle just wasn't as good. Wooler lays a good tackle on the Swans player where it's tied up. Was that man again? Johnny Paul, the 19-year-old.
He kicked 3 last week playing forward, so it's a wonder they haven't slogged him up there at some stage today, but not to be.
Reasonable size. Clark just pushes off Corey Lyons and gives it to McInerney. McInerney has the run of Stoddart, and it's a mark inside forward 50, of which, got to say, we haven't seen too many of those today up the Swans half of the ground, have we?
No, well, it's the smaller chip, and they've lowered their eyes, and there's another one. Ryan Clark's got a shot at goal.
And it just offline. So the game is gone for mine, but you've still got to be able to take your chances, and I'll be disappointed at the fact that they couldn't finish off.
Yeah, as you said, just the work rate of Rowbottom and O'Riordan has kept the Swans' pulse going, I'd say.
Ball over the back of the pack, the Alan Christensen kick. And ball tied up. Reece Matheson, the tackler. And Belbassis, Matty Belbassis. On the Sydney University NEAFL list, I believe. Is that right, Bob?
Yes, correct. He and Coxall are both Sydney Uni players.
Yeah. Bell gave it Vierhuis. Clark, a little bit sloppy. The middle there, Fullerton involved. Belbassis again, and he's lost it. Not through a lack of intent and willingness. Just a bit of extra pressure in there. They've turned it over, and coming up with will be Tom Fullerton at half back, having a little bit of a run on the ball.
Yeah, he's had a good battle with Pink up forward, hasn't he? Toby Pink's been one of their best defenders, but Christensen's had a very good quarter for Brisbane.
Roving it at ground level there was Bastanak. O'Riordan. And showed Joyce a clean pair of heels. Very clever. Then delivers it nicely out to that far side. Vierhuis gives it to McInerney. Looking for Ronk at the back. He had the height advantage on Alan Christensen that occasion, but Christensen's work rate was up to the task. And Paul helps Ronk just tie the ball up there, just inside forward 50. That outer side, we've played 28 and a half minutes of this third quarter. The margin is 53 points. Archie Smith takes it out of the ruck. Just transports it down to half back. where Ben Keys took it with open arms, puts it in the path of Tommy Fullerton. Can't quite take the ball with him before it goes over the boundary line. So right in the outer wing, we'll have a throw in.
Just got to hit those targets, doesn't he, from that set play there, and they're away, but not to be. His kicking for goal's been really accurate this year, Ben Keys. Just got to improve those ones around the ground.
Front spot, Archie Smith just crashing through, or at least trying to, was Eli Smith. Matheson there as well. McInerney knocked over, looking for a free kick. That's a three-quarter time siren. And it was all Brisbane. Probably doesn't quite tell the tale in the quarter from the scoreboard's point of view, but 3 goals 7 they kicked in that quarter to the Swans 2 behinds. They started the second half with a 30-point lead. They've extended it to 53 points. They've been dominant with possessions, 341 to 278 Brisbane. Marks 97 to 69. Inside 50s 57 to 33, and clearances 31 to 30, I should say, to 23. And then they just about squared off the hit-outs now. But it's been a phenomenal performance from Brisbane. Christensen, he's now had 25, leading Brisbane. Wooler's had 23, along with Bastanak. And then Zach Bailey's had 21, and Kadeen Coleman, he's had 21. For the Sydney Swans, Ryan Clark's had 35 disposals, so not through a lack of racking up the numbers from him. 6 marks and 4 clearances, 2 inside 50s, 9 rebound 50s. O'Riordan, he's had 27 disposals, 7 marks, 8 rebound 50s and a couple of inside 50s. And Rose, 23 disposals, 7 marks. He's kicked a couple of goals and had a couple of clearances as well. How'd you see it, Bob, that quarter?
Yeah, look, all Brisbane Lions again, wasn't it? They were off target a little bit. 3 goals 7, I think they kicked for the quarter to just the 2 behinds, but they were dominant again. They had winners all over the park, really. They've just got a lot of depth of talent on the list at the moment. They've got a pretty strong, vibrant list, all fitting well, and that's showing out at NEAFL level, isn't it, with regard to their structures and the way they can play together. And they've just been too classy and strong for a slightly undermanned, only 14 listed and rookie-listed players of the Swans. But look, the Swans have had a lot of good tries, but the Lions have had the classier players and I suppose the more depth of talent. I just give a rap to Archie Smith. Darcy Cameron's a sort of ruckman that can really take you to the cleaners at NEAFL level. Had a dominant year last year, runner-up in the NEAFL MVP. And Archie Smith's effort today against him, I think, has been very, very good. I'd say he's taken the honours personally.
Yeah, 23 hit-outs. Darcy Cameron's had 24 hit-outs. Darcy Cameron's had 5 clearances. Archie's had 3. And Archie's had 12 disposals. And Cameron's had 14. So it's been much of a muchness. Hasn't been overly effective, Darcy Cameron, for what we know of him. But Archie Smith has been terrific. It's been a good contest, that one, right in the middle of the ground. We'll have a quick break now. So the margin at three-quarter time is 53 points in favour of the Lions. You're with NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. And thanks for joining us back here at South Pine Sports Complex. 1 quarter to go. Just 3/4 time here. Game between the Brisbane Lions and the Sydney Swans. And it's all Brisbane, 79-26. Brisbane by 53. And we'll see what the Swans can muster in this last quarter. Christensen gets it off to young man in Joyce. Gets it back from Allison. They go out wide. The target out there is Tommy Fullerton, beaten to it. Clark gets the ball. He got it from Barkley, so well done to him. They do turn it over, though. There's Joyce again. Handball's a little bit hard. Went underground. Christensen swung off it. That'll be holding the ball. The one arm pinned. And winning the free kick will be Rowbottom. To be disposal number 25. 6 clearances, 8 inside 50s. Marty can't hold the mark there. Allison just toes it towards a teammate, Payne, who in turn gives it to Wooler. And Wooler goes out wide. Tommy Berry has it there. It just slips over at the wrong time. Christensen gets the arms free. And Joyce is happy to see the ball over the boundary line. As I welcome back to the coverage, Bob Batty. It's been Brisbane all the way.
Yeah, they've been very efficient today, haven't they? They've, apart from a couple of little lapses early in the, probably about halfway through the first, they've dominated play and they've had winners all over the park. So Sydney, Jeremy Laidlaw will be asking for this one effort to try and win a quarter here at this stage.
Berry got it to half forward for Brisbane, but it was intercepted by Toby Pink. Good mark. Off to Ryan Clark. Distinctive boot colour he's wearing today. Which helps me identify players at various times when they're a fair way away. Cameron has the ball spoiled away from him by Allison. And Archie Smith is, like Christensen just a minute or two ago, was pinned by one arm by Rowbottom. Holding the ball. Kick to half forward. Running onto it, Stoddart. Finds a bit of space. Shoots for goal. And that's a lovely conveyance for the first goal of the last quarter. A long, raking left foot from Riley Stoddart. There's plenty of ability. Just probably haven't seen the best of him today. He's tried hard, but just hasn't quite got the results he would have liked.
Yeah, look, he certainly by foot hasn't been as... he's normally very efficient, so there's been a lot of his kicks today that have been a little bit haphazard, but that was a beautiful finish. And well done to Rowbottom to change the direction of where he was kicking. He was looking down the line, and he had 3 big Brisbane tools, and he decided to switch. It was taking a risk, but when you're 50-odd points behind, there's nothing wrong with taking a few risks, and it paid off, and a good finish from Stoddart.
17 disposals for Stoddart, 4 inside 50s and a goal to his name. Ball back in the middle. Probably give that one to Archie Smith, knocked over with Zach Bailey. James Rose, he doesn't get knocked over, he just falls over by himself. O'Riordan slipped one. It's a handball over the top. Kilpatrick back to O'Riordan. This will cap off what has been a good performance by him, but not to be. He's been the Swans' best for mine by a long shot. That was possession number 30 for him.
Well, just in that bit of play there, he knocked young Tommy Joyce A over T in the centre square to make space for his teammate, and then ended up with the footy and just missed. So great work rate.
Piercing kick there from Robertson. McFadgen was his target, but well done there by Johnny Paul. Spoil the ball away, knock it out of bounds.
It's a good rock music name, I reckon, Johnny Paul. I wonder if he's in a band, bit of part-time band work.
Could be a front man. Pleasure of seeing the Hoodoo Gurus the other day, Bob. That was tremendous, I've got to say. But a Australian rock gods. And Dave Faulkner and the boys had a lovely function I went to. It doesn't impact right here. And see Johnny Paul. There's a front man for that one. Just Christensen couldn't handle the handball from Zach Bailey. The ball out of bounds. Pretty much where it was just a moment ago when we started talking about music.
Chris Fagan, the senior coaches, would be pleased with the way Zach Bailey's come back from that hamstring. He's slotted back in beautifully on that half-back line.
It's been busy, hasn't he? Rowbottom's in there. He's been busy at ground level. Christensen's right there on that occasion with him. Ball goes nowhere. They've balled up yet again. Outfoxed was Archie Smith by Darcy Cameron. O'Riordan, he's gone to the middle of the ground. Big pack, and it was Big Matty Eagles who flew and put the feathers on it.
Well, you could say he spread it.
Back. Cameron had front spot, but spoiled. Dispossessed was Joyce. O'Riordan. Jeez, he can find the footy. Pink couldn't handle it. Bell goes in. Berry tackle. Broke a tackle. And a little short kick finds Joyce.
Just not been wrong stay, was it? Like, you know, he's done the right team thing by looking for someone inside, but just couldn't quite hit the target.
Ballenden did well to bring it down. Stackelberg. Cox. Nice little neat handball. Eli Smith. He followed up from the contest well. Takes a bounce. Takes another one. Inside forward 50. He'll shoot for goal. And just hangs it out to the near side. You could see every sinew stretching to make sure he could sprint as fast as he could away from the contest. Enough space there. Swans bring it back in. A little bit sloppy. Out towards McInerney. That's sloppy again. Robertson. Tried to measure the target, but only could measure it straight in the arms of Riley Stoddart.
Looked like he pinpointed him, didn't he? He hit it straight down his throat. So.
Sloppy. Gets around Ben Keys to Stoddart. Goes to the outer wing. Standing tall there was Jack Payne and had it for long enough that the umpire will say, "That is yours, young man." Boy from the Noosa Tigers. Big unit he is. Still finding his way through the game. Ballenden. Pink. He has lost the ball. Eli Smith tackled him. Rowbottom just looks to clean it up. Stoddart measures one. Finds Zach Foot. It's a little bit dark out here all of a sudden.
I was going to say, I think we need the lights on, Kanga. That's maybe a bit of a rainstorm approaching.
O'Riordan got it to Darcy Cameron. Clark couldn't handle it. Robertson's there, in and under. Just almost threw it up to Darcy Cameron. And Skinner just intercepted the indiscriminate kick from Darcy Cameron. Little chipping ball inside. Finds Tommy Fullerton. And the run of Jacob Allison. Doesn't mind the run and carry of the ball. Eli Smith at half forward. Couldn't gather it cleanly in the first instance, and the ball just ricocheted over the boundary line.
Been a consistent defender today, Jacob Allison. He's played his role well, and he's kicking the ball much better. He's hitting a lot more targets than he has in probably the last 2 years of NEAFL footy. He's been dropped back to a rookie, which has probably given him a kick in the pants that he needed, and he's responding well.
Darcy Cameron did well, edged Ballenden off the ball, but it's off one step. I was going to say Archie Smith was back there waiting, but Ronk impacted the contest. A high tackle is the call. It is going back and will go the way.
16-year-old, I think.
Yep, so this is Isaiah Olsen. Hasn't had his 17th birthday yet, so it's a bit of a milestone to be playing NEAFL at this age group. Haven't seen a lot of him today, but be a
big ask, isn't it?
Brutal introduction coming in against 21 listed Brisbane Lions players. Just killing the ball off the kick from Clark was Nick Robinson. You heard the thud.
I think he's rearranging his fingers as we talk now. He probably bent about 3 of the 5 then with that big punch. But it was effective, out of bounds and a restart.
It's a shallow throw in. Umpire could just about have brought that back. Rose was looking for Rowbottom, who wasn't ready for it. They've turned this over now. Cox, Ballenden, he was retreating backwards, thinking the ball was going to come a bit further. McKellar, he just went to ground at the wrong times. He couldn't handle it. I think the rain's about to start falling. Keys just kicks it, and that just hit the instep of his left foot as I can see the rain. A few people retreating, a few umbrellas going up. Jeremy Laidler being one.
Limping a bit.
Yeah.
That was a shoddy kick from Ben Keys. He's got to finish a little bit better than that.
Ball back into play. Now raining heavily. Pink Get hard even through the binoculars. Clark. It's a ball out wide. Skinner's there. And out of bounds on the full. Yes, it is. I'll do my best in these conditions. Folks, thanks for joining us here on NEAFL TV. Thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. And that ball's kicked out of bounds on the full as they try to kick it in. So that breeze is really taking it to that outer side. Riley Stoddart with the ball.
They might not have paid their power bill here, Kanga. The lights would be of some use here at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. Ryan Clark took the mark from Stoddart. Just sits it up there. Skinner. And the player worked under the ball. Advantage paid. So the Swans come away for it. Kilpatrick goes inside forward 50. There's nobody home. Although just getting back there was young Olsen. Skinner, or in fact Allison, was back there just to help out and push the ball over the boundary line. In fact, it was taken out deliberately, I think, says the umpire. So it'll be a free kick Brisbane's way to Jacob Allison.
Bit stiff there, this Swans player. It's hard to keep your feet, let alone keep the ball in play, but Allison with the kick.
And he's really given that some. Even as the ball's starting to get a little bit wet, he's kicked that all of 60 metres, I would have thought. Row bottom. Ball out wide. Might be Ronk, I think, with the ball, perhaps. This is where we're playing a little bit of guesswork. Keys had it, lost it. Cox has a very good day. Ball going Brisbane's way. Lyons off the deck. Bit of wet weather. Footy starting to come into play. O'Riordan. In fact, I don't think it was O'Riordan back there. Might have been McKellar. Got it to Stoddart.
McKellar.
Lights on, but they haven't quite taken effect yet. Cox intercepted the ball. A bit of a mongrel punt. And that is Ben Keys, just a little bit too strong. Although I thought he just ripped his opponent out of the way to start with, to be fair to the young man.
I think it's...
Bastanak, is it?
Yeah, I think so. We made that mistake in the first quarter too, didn't we?
Yep, I think you're right, Bob. The Blue Boots give it away. So Ryan Bastanak comes in and just out to the right. So far it is Sydney winning the last quarter at least, but they are still 47 points adrift. As rain absolutely tumbles down here, and you can see which way the wind's blowing because Toby Pink caught that ball. That looked like it was going out of bounds by a mile. And he's going to the outer side of the ground, and that was a free kick Darcy Cameron's way for sure. Umpire misses it though. Reece Matheson, he'd love these conditions. Darcy Cameron just throws it on the foot. Just goes the required distance, and Jack Payne, and he just takes the ball. I'm glad we're undercover here, Bob, because it is teeming down. Ball down deep. Target was Bastanak, off hands, and then just spills and slides over the goal line for a behind on this occasion.
Poor old Swans. Poor old Swans can't take a trick. That storm's come, and would you believe the breeze would become now 4 or 5 goals down to, well, it's a flood to the left of screen now, not to the right of screen. Can't take a trick, the Swans.
No. Bring the ball out was McInerney there. Got it as far as Matt Eagles. Mop of hair that he usually has, somewhat subdued by the moisture. Kicks the ball out. Cameron, and also Eli and McFadgen were there. Wooler, clever little handball to Ben Keys, and he's happy with it straight up the boot, and that is a goal. So Ben Keys has kicked 3, and the Lions, they push the lead back out to 54 points here in this last quarter. We've played nearly 15 minutes of this last quarter, and that is, I was going to say it's the biggest lead of the match, but 55 was, so we're not far off. Players just jumping up and down on the spot on the side of the ground here, just trying to keep warm. So it's obviously the rain has dampened their enthusiasm and a little bit of their body temperature as well.
Certainly going to impact at the Gabba a little bit later on this afternoon, isn't it? A couple of hours away to the bounce down at the Gabba, and John Longmire breaks the, I think it's 203 games, I think. He breaks Paul Roo's record of 202 games as coach of Sydney Swans. So great work, great record there to the horse Longmire. Fantastic work.
And we'll see if the Swans can get their season back on track somewhat. Of course, Buttyless. Well done to John Longmire. Congratulations. Alan Christensen, quick kick off the deck towards Pink and also Archie Smith. Eli Smith is there. And the ball rolls harmlessly for the Swans, at least, out of bounds. I've just been outclassed today. Too many contributors across the ground, haven't they?
Yeah, look, it was weight of numbers, wasn't it? And they've all contributed. That's like you said, Cedric Cox hasn't had a great day, but he's still contributed and attacked the footy hard at times when needed and played his team role. So, they've all contributed, the Lions.
Archie Smith just out of the ruck contest, just had a shot at him, albeit under extreme difficulty, and just succeeded putting across the face a goal and have another throw in. Plenty of players around the contest. Darcy Cameron just put it down in the path of Clark and also Foot. Nothing effective there.
I think both coaches would be happy to hear a siren 15 minutes early in this last quarter with the weather conditions and the players having worked so hard, but you can't do that in footy. You've got to keep going to the lie.
Cameron feeds it out. Clark to Rose. Kick bounces in front of Kilpatrick. Payne couldn't handle it either. There'll be plenty of me saying that for the next 15 minutes, I'd suggest. Kilpatrick goes again. Coming through there was Stackelberg. Just swung the foot at it. Couldn't make contact. McFadgen likewise. Bill Bassis was there. And also there was Paul. Gets it a bit further afield, but well done there by Matty Eagles. Been very resolute in defence. Wholehearted performer, there's no doubt about that.
Yeah, no, he's got a cult following, hasn't he, at the Lions. He's, coming through the Recruit TV show. And every time he's had a senior opportunity, the crowd's got right behind him, as they do here at NEAFL level.
Darcy Cameron got the ball down. Clark goes off the ground. And then just nicely clutching the ball. There was James Madden. He'd be a bit used to these conditions. Over in Ireland, I would have thought.
They'd be digging the potatoes in this sort of weather, wouldn't they, over there in Ireland?
Hello for anybody watching from Ireland, as Wooler got it down. Keys got it to Cox, who couldn't handle it. Went back for it. Tried to get it back to Keys. Couldn't do so. Quick kick out of the pack. That came from Coxall. And it was just put back from whence it came and just went over the boundary line. So plenty of playing that outer side. Making commentary pretty hard, I've got to tell you. I wish I'd bring it back over this side, make it far easier.
Yeah, we need the tide to change, I think.
Ball holds up in the breeze, very evident. We're looking at it through the binoculars. Coxall to Rose. Just outside of defensive 50. Trying to spin out was Wicks. Couldn't quite do so in totality, although there's a free kick. Goes Brisbane's way, I think, for holding the ball. And Matty Eagles, the tackler, wins it. Not sure where to go because there's plenty of Swans back in defence. Lobs it in. Eli Smith was the target. Darcy Cameron had a couple of bites at it. Stackelberg couldn't get it going his way. Vierhus gets it down to Rose off one step. Just puts it out. Payne is there. That's Jack Payne. Coleman. A little bit quiet, but he's had an impact upon the game. Robertson gets it back in. Side forward 50. Unable to bring it down was McFadgen. O'Riordan. And they've turned it over again here, the Swans. And Madden, he just was dispossessed. So they'll come away, the Swans. O'Riordan again. Long ball. They've got numbers here. It holds up in the breeze. Kilpatrick was back looking for it. And the breeze held it up and it didn't even reach him. So bad luck there to the Swans. And the Lions can come away. It was Allison and Christensen combining, and Keys at half back. Just measured one. Back in the corridor. Finds Toby Wooler. That kick's not a good one. He'll be embarrassed.
He just got to improve in those kicks, doesn't he, Toby? He wins the footy for a big, tall, utility-type forward defender. He gets a lot of the footy. He's probably averaged 30 possessions a game at NEAFL level this year. Just needs to be better by foot.
Yep. And Pink just probably wasn't much better going back the other way. Matheson at ground level. He was just tied up. And again, you can probably understand now the ball's going to be pretty slippery out there as we've had a stack of rainfall. You see the ball over near us as well for a change. Archie Smith works Cameron off the ball and almost has a fresh airy at it. Bell, he was impacted below the knee, so he wins the free kick. It was Stackelberg that was the man that infringed on that occasion. Just going hard at the ball, but illegally, says the umpire. All fair enough. Sits the ball up. Armadi went with the one paw in the finish as he manhandled his opponent trying to win the ball. Cameron, ball down. Doesn't stay in. It was Wicks there, right there with it when it went out of bounds with Coleman. So we are closing in on the finish. It won't be a long quarter. We've had just the 2 goals scored. The Lions with their noses in front in this last quarter, but overall they are well clear. Some 54 points. Kick smothered. Here's a chance for the Swans. And it was Paul with the kick. And just off the left boot, it just slid off the side, out of bounds on the full. No harm, no foul. Nick Robertson, with the crowd retreating, is forced to go over the fence and get it himself.
I was going to say there won't be any spectators over that far side, and the ball goes out of bounds. I think the water trainer got the last one that went over the fence, so the players are having to do double the work now, getting the footy themselves.
Nick Robertson, been very serviceable today. 20 disposals for him. Reardon with the spoil. Ball back in there. Keys down to Ballenden. Bit wet weather footy. And just McFadgen just ripped his opponent off the ball. I wasn't sure that was totally legal, but umpire says play on. And that opponent was Rory Barkley. We've had certainly sections that have tried hard, the Swans. But across the board, they've been outclassed today. Cameron got it down, but only as far as the lines. And it's Berry that puts it inside forward 50. Smith went with the one hand. Pink's right there. Minded his game down back today. And just forces the ball over the line. Have a throw in back there. So 23 and a half minutes gone. And had a lot of stoppages, so a bit more to go just yet.
The Swans would be hoping that that scoreboard was right. They'd be looking pretty good. 804 goals, 10. So the lights have gone a bit awry there on the scoreboard for the Swans.
A couple of too many bulbs lit up there. Ball out to the outer side, thrown in. I'm going to ask you for your, while we pass the time here, Bob, I'm going to ask you for your best couple of players on the ground in your view as we look towards NEAFL MVP votes. Not that you're voting for them, but who you think might be in the running for them. So the ball back into play, row bottom. He's had plenty of it, worked hard. Ripped off the ball and winning the free kick there was Fullerton. Advantage paid. And the ball goes inside forward 50 and Keys is the man with the footy. Too far away. Asked to play on because he went around the mark. Up towards Ballenden. Went high. Couldn't bring it down with him, but looked a little bit likely. Bell under pressure. Swans turn it over. Bastanak. Little chipping ball. It was a nice ball too. And well done there. Good presence of mind from Bastanak and finds Berry. We'll let this shot at goal happen, Bob, and then we might have this conversation. So Tommy Berry has to kick it from about 40 metres. Ball starting to get a little bit heavy, and he just splays it off the side of the boot, and Toby Pink is there. A couple of spectators behind, coming back out as the rain's passed. Cameron Little short ball finds O'Riordan, who's happy to play on. Chipping ball and finds Zach Foote. He's gone a bit quiet in the second half.
Yeah, he certainly has. He was the wingman for the Dandenong Stingrays in their premiership victory in 2018, the first one for the Dandenong Stingrays in the history of the TAC Cup.
Well, we saw the umpire go down the middle of the ground. Eli Smith, the kick was no good, but it did find Eli Smith. Ball back at half forward, punched away from Berry. Coming through is Clark. O'Riordan gets it back from Wicks. Ball inside forward 50 now. Fullerton's back there. Robertson is the first one back there though. Fullerton assisted. Drum was back there but couldn't impact the contest. Wooler. And now Matheson on the far side at half back. Little short ball juggled over the line. And it was by Corey Lyons. So what's your thoughts, Bob?
Yeah,
look, running for the NEAFL MVP votes.
Yeah, look, it's going to be hard to give it for the Lions, isn't it? They've had probably 6 or 7 players that could put their hand up and say that they've been in the votes. But I like the four-quarter performances of Allison, Bastanak, Bellenden and Zach Bailey. Those 4 over the 4 consistent quarters. I think they'll be in amongst it. And obviously, O'Riordan would be my standout for the Sydney Swans. So between those 5 players, I think they might get 3 of the votes.
Well, they might the fair share of the votes in the NEAFL MVP. Of course, Matthew Payne from Aspley, the reigning champion, chain of handballs. So we're back here at South Pine, Alan Christensen, and that is a nice mark up forward from Ben Keys. And it was a good little bit of piece of running footy. Ended up, the chain of handballs end up with Alan Christensen. It was a good one-on-one contest. Ben Keys a little bit too strong.
Yeah, look, he's against a big body player. He's a big brute of a boy, isn't he? The boy, now I've got to remember it, Kyle McKellar. And he, Ben Keys made it look easy, didn't he? Just held his ground, put his 1 mid up and said thank you very much and kicked a beautiful goal. So that's his 4th. He's been quite early, but in the end, probably, well, he thinks he's kicked 5. He kicked 1 in the second that the umpire didn't agree with, that thought was touched. So all in all, he's had a very effective day. But, yeah, good effort and great work from Christensen. His second half, if he had the same impact in the first half, he would be certainly getting the big votes. His second half has been outstanding.
So the margin out to an even 10 goals now. 60 points, 13-16. 94 to 4-10-34. So comprehensive victory. What was the top of the table clash here? There was only 3 sides undefeated, and Southport was the other. Besides these 2, but it's the Lions well and truly flexing their muscles. Rose and O'Riordan couldn't take it with them. On there by Coleman, the run of Stackelberg. The 2 academy boys combine again. Inside forward 50 at the back. Here's Cox, feeds it off to Keys, but Cox goes again. Clever little handball, Lions, Keys on the left, and that's 5. Well done there to the Lions, Cedric Cox, a clever bit of work. Coleman and Stackelberg through the middle of the ground once they got that ball out of the middle. And Ben Keys got on the end of it yet again.
Yeah, he'd be leading the goal kicking, wouldn't he, Nelly? The way it's panning out at the moment. But on the end of some very good work. You summed it up there. He hasn't had a great day, Cedric Cox, but that'll give him confidence moving forward. He missed last week with a family commitment, so certainly back and playing. And as has Reece Matheson. He's got through with after missing the last couple of weeks since the Collingwood game with a hamstring. And Zach Bailey also got through beautifully. With a hamstring, I think it was against Port Adelaide, round 3.
That sounds right to me. So 66 points the margin. Matheson goes again, gets the clearance at half back there. McKellar goes again for the Swans. Now Christensen for Brisbane does the 360, just lobs it up in the air, looking for a target, and Ballenden comes out on that occasion. Toby Pink just couldn't quite get to the contest to stick a fist upon it.
It's like holding back the tidal waves, isn't it, with poor Toby Pink? He's had Fullerton, he's had Skinner, he's had Bellenden, he's had his hands full all day. He's tried hard, but weight of numbers always going to win out.
So Connor Ballenden from West Juniors. It was touched off the boot, was it? Yes, it was. Heard it from here. And so 1 point in their team of all-time junior team of the year at the West Juniors Footy Club is Connor Ballenden. A little bit of a stat for you. As we see the final siren here at South Pine Sports Complex, it was the Brisbane Lions doing it very comfortably in the finish. They won 3 of the 4 quarters and then levelled up in the only other one the Swans could muster. And it's a 67-point margin at the finish. 14-17, 101 to the Sydney Swans. 4 goals, 10-34. A pretty comprehensive effort from Brisbane and likewise for the victory.
Yeah, no, they're dominant team today. They'll be Mitch Hahn and his coaching group. They'll be very, very happy with that 4-quarter effort. They had a couple of passages of play where they dropped it a little bit, but that's taking nothing away from the Sydney Swans. They tried hard all day. They were just outnumbered, and physically they were probably undermanned. When the ball was dry, there was just too many big, tall timber for Brisbane Lions, especially in defence. Eagles, he's another player that put his hand up today. I thought he was brilliant back there in defence. And look, they had winners all over the ground, and they fully deserved their victory. And look, they've, I think the least margin that they've had in their 4 victories, or 5 victories now, has been 48 points against Aspley, and that was a bit of a wet condition day. So they've done pretty well. To win by 67 points in these conditions is a very good effort from Mitch Hahn's team.
Well, the goal kickers for both sides, it was Ben Keys with 5, and then a couple to Corey Lyons. We had 1 to Bastanak, 1 to Ballenden, 1 to Tom Joyce. Eli Smith got 1. Tommy Fulton, he kicked a couple the first and second quarters of the game. And then Connor Stackelberg actually got 1, or Cody Stackelberg, I should say, got 1 as well. And for the Sydney Swans, it was 2 to James Rose, 1 to Riley Stoddart, and 1 to Joel Marty. The possessions in totality there going the way of the Brisbane Lions, 434 to the Swans, 365 inside 50, 74 to 40. Hitouts went Sydney's way, 46 to 30, but clearances went Brisbane's way, 41 to 34. Leading possession getters, Alan Christensen really racked them up there towards the end of the game. He had 33 for the Lions. Wooler had 30. Bastanak had 26. Allison 24. Bailey 23 along with Coleman. And then 22 apiece to Keys, Robertson and Corey Lyons, with Matheson having 20. On the Sydney Swan side of things, he accumulated a whole stack of possession. Ryan Clark had 47 disposals, 29 kicks and 18 handballs, 9 marks, 7 clearances, 11 rebound 50s. Probably not as effective as we probably could have been with a lot of those disposals, but still, you've got to get the ball. Colin O'Riordan was by far the best for mine. He had 41 disposals, 8 marks, 4 tackles, and 9 rebound 50s. James Rose had 28 disposals. Rowbottom, I thought, tried very, very hard. 8 tackles with his 27 disposals and 6 clearances, 9 inside 50s. And Darcy Cameron, he had 22 disposals, 40 hitouts, 8 clearances, and 3 inside and rebound 50s. Riley Stoddart was the other one in the 20s with 21 disposals.
Yeah, comprehensive by the Lions, and yeah, full credit to, as you mentioned there, Colin O'Riordan. That's 2 weeks in a row he's got over 40 possessions, and certainly he's only had 4 AFL games, but they could do worse and give the Irishman a go in their senior squad. Certainly he's put his hand up anyway for Horst Longmire and said, I'm ready to play. So well done to him. And James Rowbottom got dropped back from the seniors, and I just liked his game. Ryan Clark the same, although I just think he's got to improve his disposal skills. He just misses too many targets. But well done to the Lions, undefeated. They're going to be hard to beat this year, Kanga. They play like that. They play for each other. They play with some passion. attack the footy well, and they've got winners all over the park.
Well, that they do. And just quickly around the ground, Southport look like they're going to maintain their undefeated start to season 2019. It's near full time there, and they have a 42-point lead over Sydney University as we hear the song downstairs from the Brisbane Lions. This might be the opportunity for us to sign off from the South Pine Sport Complex here on the northern suburbs of Brisbane. Bob Batty, thank you for joining me this afternoon.
Thank you, Kanga.
And it is the Lions taking us out on behalf of myself, Mark Kennedy and Bob. We'll see you next week for more NEAFL TV, thanks to our broadcast partner, Bar TV. Bye for now.